Well, I guess multiple things,
Jade.
actually, but...
Hey, is the picture of the orphanage opening up and loading properly for y'all?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, for me it just says loading.
Oh, we decorated.
I minimized it, and now I can't get it to pull back up.
Well, let me try for everyone one more time. Go ahead and close it out, Sib.
Me too?
Yeah, go ahead and close it out.
The icons are doing the weird shrinky thing again. Why do they always do that?
What?
In this one?
Alright, let me try sharing it again.
Because
Oh, Sib, you
Amelia-
didn't close it out.
Oh, I did, but it came back up.
Oh, I just
I
shared it
promise
with
you
you.
I closed it out.
Alright, let me try it one more time.
Ooh, task
go.
manager, here we come.
What do you mean they're doing the shrinky thing?
Like when I
you
zoom in,
they don't...
they
don't do
they
anything.
like they stay the same size, which is
Oh yeah, hey! How about
Really?
that?
yeah. which
I
is
can
not
fix
very
that. I can fix that. You just lock token scale.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
much. And now we're tiny.
Well, I mean, now we're proportionate to the building.
Yes.
Are we?
Yes.
Yes. Like,
Oh my
I can
God.
sit on this chair and be proportionate to the chair.
So little.
There we go.
We have a bigger corgi though.
No, that's still a good sized corgi.
Yeah, Portly's large.
Portly's a big boy.
Yeah, no, for some reason it's not working for me.
Well, that's...
I've like closed it and reloaded it a few times. Let me try and exit out and come back
Yeah,
in.
let's do that. Hi, everyone, by the way. Give us a moment as we... in fact, while you're doing that, let me go ahead and recap the session that you missed.
I didn't realize you'd started the stream.
Yeah, I said... I was like, hey, have we been ready to start streaming? And then there was utter silence. I was like, I'm taking that for a yes. I'm starting the stream.
Tune that out.
But then you said stuff about the preview, and I was like, oh, it's not starting yet.
Oh,
But
no,
you
yeah,
are.
that makes it even worse. I literally narrated the entire process to start the stream. I said I'm pressing the tweet, and now I'm pressing the stream, and now it's loading, and now it's live. So, of all the
I didn't
things
get
in
the
my
live
life
part.
where I can say, not my fault.
I plead the
Nah,
fifth.
I was focusing on getting that the URL for
Yeah.
the chat.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't blame anyone. I have no room to speak.
I blame everyone.
So, Sib, while you're pulling that back up, how about I recap you?
Yes.
So,
please.
last week on Curse of the Crimson Throne, hang on. Trepidation! Our brave heroes cautiously entered the house of Salvatore Scream to find the symbols of Mother everywhere, a deity of mystery, a secret that they shall never know about, unless you ask Robin, who's been worshipping her before it was cool.
Oh my god.
After finding out that Salvatore Scream was taken by the nefarious and infamous Emperor PSYLP.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll that back. Roll back. Take it again.
No, I actually didn't mess up. I was right.
Pizzle Swilts?
You heard me. Hang on, let me find his actual name. It's very close.
No. We've had this
Swizzle.
conversation. It's
Hang on.
Swizzle Stick.
It's a swizzle stick. Hang on. Oh gosh,
I have his name down as Pilts.
yeah, it's Pilts something.
Yeah, well, I
It's
have
Swizzle.
it. Yeah, I have it in my notes as Swizzle Stick. So obviously.
Yeah, Pilts Swizzle.
I also
Okay,
have it as Swizzle Stick.
Pilts Swizzle.
Yeah.
Guys,
Pizzle.
ruined my 1960s radio announcer vibe. Or I guess I did. Either way, Swizzle Pizzle. Anyway, Swizzle Pizzle has taken Salvatore Scream for his own. Oh my god. What is it?
Well, he's very upset.
Well, he's beautiful and he knows it. God, I completely lost my train of thought. Monsters almost ate Murray. That was fun. That was a thing that happened. Didn't happen though. Robin saved her and Amelia barbecued them. Or half barbecued them because you guys then cut them up, took them home, and finished the job.
Wow.
Yep. Our group got the bright idea that in this time of sadness and sorrow and trials, that a good old fashioned monster barbecue is what's called for.
Hey man, neighborhood barbecues are great for morale.
I
Okay?
am fully approving of these actions. You went back to the orphanage, cooked up the monsters that you slayed, and oh my gosh, I don't know what Wally is going so nuts about over there. And spent time with the best and most important NPC that the group ever ignored, Portly, who spent days staring at the door waiting for you to come home.
They made me.
But Rhea wittily or unknowingly used Portly as a method of bonding with Robin as they took the dog for a walk and talked while Portly chased a board. True story. Not even exaggerating. And then at the end of the session, as everyone bedded down for the night, the steaks cooked, the rest being fulfilled, Robin, customarily standing outside on the porch, keeping watch, never asleep. At least, never that anyone's ever seen. Is approached by a figure in the night that turns out to be none other than Camille herself. Interested in this person that she can't seem to reach, that she doesn't know, she came personally to talk to Robin, to speak with him, to get to know him, and possibly even offer him employment. Did Robin refuse? That's it.
I think we called it a tactful sidestep.
I think he said a rain check on that one. Can I get your number?
He said he'll think about it. And can I get your number?
Yeah. He said, "It's very tempting. Let me go over the package. What is it? The benefits package, and I'll get back to you. I'll have my people kill your people."
Yup.
And that brings us to the start of this session. Oh my gosh. Hang on, guys. My poor dog. Give me a second.
You see, this is what happens when we leave Portly inside for days, you guys.
He's losing his teeny
We
tiny
get
legs.
multiple noise complaints from the Old Corvus Homeowners Association. Is that what happens?
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure half of those guys are strung up right now. Like,
Oof.
I don't know who's gonna be complaining.
It's just Mallory at this point.
You know,
just
I'm
Mary.
wondering.
They might be dead, but they're still judgmental.
Nice.
In the time that we were gone, did Portly teach Kitty how to bark?
I can't play right now, buddy.
No.
No, don't shake your tail. I can't play right now. He was trying to play.
Oh,
Poor baby.
I know. And then he thought like I wanted to play, so now he's following me. So, as I ignore him, the start of the session. Any questions before we get started?
How is everybody?
are you checking in character-wise
No.
or player?
I just want to know how you are, man.
I'm doing good.
I can say in chat how I am.
That bad, huh?
Hold on.
Wow. I have plenty of questions, but not pertaining to this particular point in the game.
Perfect. Well, oh boy, buddy. Bear with me, okay? Like 3 hours. Where?
Oh,
I should have gotten an ugly dog.
Paying attention to his new haircut.
no dogs are ever ugly.
He looks
Your dog is
spectacular.
never ugly.
He knows it. Yes, but I mean, he's even less ugly now than usual. And he knows it.
No,
Okay.
because if he was ugly, you'd also feel pity as well.
I don't know about that. If he was like a pug, I don't think I'd feel pity. This is horrible. Okay,
Wow.
sorry. Enough getting distracted. So,
Jesus Christ.
we're opening the session up. Oh, with music. We're opening the session up with music as Wally plays us a happy song.
See, you weren't playing that Wale, so he felt like he had to lay down a background noise.
Let's
Jesus
try.
Christ, Blue.
Let's try this one. This has got to be the best start to any session we've ever had. Okay. Music. Okay, there we go. We start this session as the sun begins to rise over the horizon. Not that Corvosa sees it under the pall of rain clouds that are growing ever thicker and darker, but light does filter through, and the streets start to grow and brighten. Who's the first up? I'm curious.
Well, Robin, probably.
You know, Robin
By
doesn't count.
technicality.
Still up.
We're gonna have to call in a referee on that one, but probably Weary.
Okay.
If we're counting just the people who slept.
Yeah, we'll say this is the sun is starting to brighten the outside world. Murray, you can see outside the windows that the rain is still thrumming down at you. Not what you would call exactly heavy, but certainly steady. What do you do?
What time does everybody else usually get up? Amelia and Ross usually sleep, right?
Yeah, but not that late. Really, the only person you guys used to have to really wait for was Shala and her morning rituals.
Don't forget Shalane.
Shish you. Or I'm actually going to introduce Shaquana, the sad cousin of Shala.
Wow.
Oh no.
But Murray probably goes downstairs and starts prepping some kind of breakfast. They have fucking meat galore for days, so
They do.
it's probably gonna be that. And whatever she didn't use, some vegetables and rice or whatever she has left. And she may mix some tea and have a chat with Zellara, actually. It's been a while since they have touched base.
Okay. So you make yourself a cup of tea, and you sit down and you reach out, probably take the deck out.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done this, hasn't been for a while, but you've done this before quite a few times. You hold the deck and you simply think to it. Almost like a sending spell, but you don't have to send anything. You just throw your thoughts at it, so to speak. This morning, though, you get no response. And it's not as if you don't sense that Zellara is there. You sense that she's there. You sense that she's not responding to you.
Then Weary will probably ask if she's alright.
No response.
Let me see what spells I have prepared. I don't have Detect Magic prepared because I have all of my healing spells queued up. And I am not the utility caster of this group.
Fair.
Yeah. Then she'll shuffle the cards and she'll give it some time. A little confused, but will tell Zalora that if she needs her space, that's okay, but that if Moiri has caused her anger or grief, that she would like to know. And then, I don't know, maybe draws a few cards, does a quick and not educated reading, and then sets the cards across from herself at the table.
Roll me a d20. I tried so hard to get the deck into Fantasy Grounds, but I've been unable so far, so we'll just do this. Hang on 1 second. Just gotta look this up real quick. Rolled a 12, eh?
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming no additions to this at all, just straight.
No, just a straight d20. It's pure random chance. You... Oh, Mary. You pull a card. The idiot. Is a picture of a man riding backwards on a donkey with a large face mask covering him. In your time, you've learned enough about the tarot cards to know that it generally represents folly, greed, blackmail, bribery, or hubris. Now, usually without a full harrow reading, it's hard to tell the context. If this is you, or someone you've met, or any number of things, it's hard to tell just by drawing one card.
Okay, then she'll probably do a Spirit of 3, because that seems like an omen.
Well, I mean, without doing a full horror reading, you're not going to have good context, and unfortunately,
okay.
Miri is not skilled in that. There is someone who is, but she's not talking to you right now.
Okay, well, she'll sigh and laugh to herself a little bit, put the card back in the deck, and say, "I suppose I had that one coming."
You had to roll a 12. We'll say at that point, maybe some of the others start to come around. Rhea and Amelia definitely are not very late sleepers. Ross, what about you? You still sleeping? Ross?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, she's still sleeping because the night before she didn't get a full rest, so she's sleeping in extra today until somebody wakes her up.
Sure, makes sense. So Rhea and Amelia make their way down the stairs. Probably as you're shuffling the deck and putting it away.
And Moiri seems oddly subdued. But she will serve up breakfast quietly and tea for anyone who wants it, and will poke her head outside to feed Robin, call him inside, get out of the rain.
Yeah, he'll come in and join you at the table.
So Amelia, Rhea, Robin, and Murray sitting at a table with that big pile of hot-cooked meat in front of you.
And whatever Moiri has cooked up for Robin, we will eat it.
Excuse me.
Oh, my burrito fell over.
The sour cream is getting everywhere.
I don't think
Only
it's a
the sour
burrito
cream.
anymore.
Squeak, I just wanted to clarify that, like, Aras would come and, you know, eventually wake up. She's just sleeping a little extra hard, so
Sure, understood.
she will be the last one to the table.
Portly,
Portly, that chew toy.
Portly's woken up. So what do you guys talk about at this fine breakfast of champions?
As I said, Miri is awfully subdued. She's going to be fairly quiet, as if she has something on her mind.
Are you alright?
As well as I can be, child, but thank you.
Okay. You guys partake in the meal. Robin, do you eat anything?
Robin looks at the dish. He kind of picks around in it. He makes a face and sets it down in front of him. Looks like he very much doesn't like it.
I did make it clear that she did not make him meat, right?
Yeah, he just like puts a spoon in whatever it is and pushes it around and kind of just tosses it onto the table. It slides a few inches and sits there, watching.
She's doing good work. Leave her alone.
Yeah, Amelia's just kind of not even like picking at her food. She's just like staring off into space.
Communing with her sister.
Since your Ross got up and she's a little grumpy this morning, like when she comes down and everybody's already sitting there eating. You know, she comes in and she looks at it and she's like, what the heck is this? You know, and looks up at Murray. Did you put bugs in this too?
She snorts. No.
She like, Ross will just kind of sit down with her, but like sniff it, you know. Smells funny or something.
It's just meat and vegetables and rice.
Okay.
Not that was not in character. Just letting you know.
In
Okay.
character, Mary said, "Eat your freaking food."
Right.
Shut up and eat.
Less talk, more possum.
Amelia just kind of mutters, granted it did technically come out of the sewers.
Oh boy. Yum. You know, Ross sarcastically, you know, takes a huge bite that's way too much.
Amelia just like gives her a look. Just like, that's lovely.
Rhea will sort of sit back a bit and push her food away from her. Been a week. Been a week since they took her.
And you see Mary has been sort of doing dishes and making herself busy, and when Rhea speaks, she just stops. She doesn't say anything, but she's still.
We should have been past her. We should have gotten sooner. This. I should have sooner.
You're breaking up a bunch.
Yeah, and you're real quiet, by the way.
Why does that do that? Okay, hold on.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. I was actually increasing her volume.
Oh.
No. Go ahead and increase yours. I'll adjust mine.
I was trying to type in the chat, is it just me? But I was way too slow.
Yeah. So, what exactly did it start at? Or at just the beginning?
At the beginning.
Everything.
Whole thing.
Oh boy. What the fuck did I say?
It's been a week. That's all we
Yeah.
got.
Mhm. But it's been a
So-
week since they took her, is what I heard, and that's why Weary stopped.
Right. So basically, went on to say, we should have been faster. We should have gotten to her sooner. I should have gotten there sooner. She's gone because of me.
The room is uncomfortably silent after that, as no one really moves or speaks.
It's slowly Weary turns around and leans back on the counter. Do not place the weight of the world on your shoulders, child. All you can do is try.
No, this is because of me. She was there because of me.
She was there because she chose to be.
We were all there because of my decision. This is my fault, Weary.
Amelia picks up her fork and kind of pokes at some of the food and sighs and goes, well, not all of us were there. And just kind of clatters the fork down.
Was that
Yeah.
was that a dig at Weary?
Rhea looks over at Amelia and gets like a hard look on her face and nod. No, you're right. And then she turns towards Weary. This isn't... You weren't there. You weren't there. This isn't my fault. This is yours. She's gone because of you.
And Weary blinks her deep black eyes and looks at you. Oh, appropriate music, Squee. Good choice.
Hey, I'm just playing to the crowd. Reading the mood, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And Weary looks at Rhea. If it pleases you, I will take your anger. I stayed because I... But do not think that if you blame me, that I will give up my search for her.
Searching doesn't matter. We're not going to find her. She's gone, and they have her. And it's your fault.
Poor Weary. You hear behind you, Weary. You turn to see Camille standing there, trying so hard to hold your family together. You know she's right. You know if you were there, you could have stopped me. But you had other things to do. Important things. And yet here you sit, plain mother caretaker, when you're nothing but a failure.
And is Moiri like allowed to like talk?
Yes?
And oddly, Moiri brightens. Ah.
Well, I would say let's do a wisdom save before that happens.
Okay.
Luckily, and I'll say this because I don't really know how else to designate this too much, but you gave a very, very sweet and nice prayer to Desna. I mean, not to Desna, to Sarenrae. I am not going to have you roll at disadvantage despite having to do so last time, as Camille has one of your feathers. Ho, 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 ho. Shnikes. All right. You were saying?
Moiri brightens and turns to Camille. Ah. I was hoping you'd return, you know.
Camille pauses. Her eyes unreadable, but her arms fall to her side and her fingers twitch. Were you?
I imagine then this is what, a dream, not real?
It is my world. My playground. And she walks over and strokes Ria's hair.
She nods. You have a very creative mind.
Oh, but this isn't my mind, Murray. It's yours. She holds her arms out. These aren't my memories. They're yours. I simply shape what I find.
Yes, I suppose you do. I suppose then my memories might be a treasure trove for you.
They are. So many. I don't see what she sees in you. I look in your mind and all I see is one failure after another. Your husband. Your children. Shala. Do you think you'll do different with them? She continues stroking Ria's hair.
Moiri cocks her head and would like to make an insight check real quick.
Yes, but do so at disadvantage.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you're in her world, more or less.
There it is. Okay. Insight. Well, okay.
She is unreadable.
Oh. So Moiri sits back against the counter where she was. Oh, I cannot get that to stay open. And very gently crosses her hands and looks at Camille with her deep black eyes and says, "You must be frightened. I do not envy the position you're in."
She raises an eyebrow. Frightened? Of who? You?
Oh, no, child. I hold no hope in my heart that I am anything to you. But that's all right. As you said, I ought to be used to it by now. No, child, not. It must be strange. It's not the same sister that came back to you, is it? Than the one who left with orders to kill.
And whose fault is that, bird?
And Weary's eyes crinkle at the corners.
And a crack does show through. It's clear a nerve was hit.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the way she looks at you. Is it anger? Is it fear? Has she always feared you? Or maybe is it worst of all? Is it pity? Something has changed, and you can't quite put your finger on what it is, but it's different now. And you're angry. You're angry with me, and you're angry with her. How dare she try and leave the mold that was made for her? How dare she try and leave you behind?
She studies you. You're very insightful. I'll give you that, Kadal. But your words don't matter. Every day, Shala realizes the error of her ways. More and
And
more.
at that, Mary gives a deep, booming laugh, like thunder rolling in the distance.
Shala's eye. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, she just follows that up with error. Then it is the mind only that you know much about, and not the heart.
Oddly, a smile touches her face. The side of her mouth doesn't reach her eyes. Oh, what is this? Shala's heart's too strong. Her desires, her passions will save her. Let me tell you, Mwiri, exactly what's happening to Shala. Every single day, I am tearing out her mind. Her memories of you, of Rhea, of everyone. Soon, she won't even know who you are. So don't
And Mary
lecture.
blinks.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary blinks and says, "Oh, I have no doubt. It's not her heart you need to be afraid of, my dear."
She looks at you again. Funny you should focus so much on fear. She walks away from you back to the table. When you don't even know the monsters you walk beside. And she puts a hand on the still form of Robin. Have a good day, Murray. And with that, Murray, your eyes snap open.
So y'all were commiserating about that, huh?
It could have been a coincidence.
What
Maybe.
you talking about?
Yeah, uh-huh.
It's possible just coincidence, honestly.
I plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least Mary said a nice and heartfelt prayer before,
Yes.
enjoying that nice wake up.
Yes,
Thanks,
it was a very thought out prayer, and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be so necessary."
But Mary saved on her wisdom roll.
She did.
So,
Holy
Really
crap!
hard. Holy
That
shit.
that had to be a huge slap in the face after all that Camille went through. Whoo!
So Mary does exactly what she did and gets up and makes breakfast because that's what she does and that's who she is.
Nicely done, Murray. You gain the benefits of a long rest. You do not suffer any damage. You're fine.
Yay!
Yay!
Isn't this like the second time in a row that Muri's like super saved against these
Yes.
frickin' checks?
Yes.
Murray has never been phased by Camille's dreams. Probably something that hasn't gone unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Okay,
the
back
dice
in the
tell the
real
story.
world. Mary does exactly what she did. Goes downstairs, makes some breakfast, makes some tea, talks to Zellara.
All right, guys. Now this time, really tell her how it's all her fault. No, no.
Okay, round
She
two.
No.
Really sell it, right?
This time, Mary, you sit down, take out the cards, and you reach out to your friend. There's a pause, and you hear in your mind... No, actually, in this case, I think Zelera would appear before you as a major image. Ability, you know, that she has, she can cast once a day. She appears to be sitting across the table from you. You seem preoccupied, Mary. I know it's been some time since we've spoken, but that's not like you.
And Murray's Mary can't really smile, but some mirth touches her eyes. Then I think there's quite a bit to catch you up on.
Oh, I am aware of all that you see and hear. I am always with you, more or less. I understand the fate of poor Shala. And she'll reach a hand out, and it goes through yours. She can't touch you, but she reaches a gesture anyway. Better than almost anyone here, I may understand how you feel. I too lost a son, as you may remember.
Mary nods. I remember.
You can't give up hope.
Murray nods.
I wish there was more that I could do to aid you.
And at that, Mary does smile, her eyes crinkling. My friend, it is just good to hear your voice.
Zelera takes the one thing that she can interact with, the deck of cards, and with practiced hands begins shuffling them. Well, I have that at least, I suppose. She pulls out a card at random. Give me a second here. And pulls out the demon lantern. She places it on the table in front of you. Interesting. A demon's lantern. A chaotic card. Representing traps, mind tricks, sleight of hand. It seems it is something you are dealing with quite a lot these days.
And Mary sits back in her chair. Oh, yes. But I hope to give and not take purely.
The mind is a vulnerable place, Mary. Stay true to what you know to be right.
Mary not. I shall endeavor to do so.
And with that, she will place the deck back on the table. I fear it is not time yet. I feel it is not time yet. But am I correct that your intentions are to go see this emperor?
And the smile does not quite leave Mary's face. See? Perhaps not yet. Not yet. I'm afraid I have more in store for him before he gets to see who we are.
She nods. When you've had your confrontation with him, however that may be, in whatever form it may take, call upon me. I don't know why, but I fear that all of you will benefit from a horror reading.
Worry not. If you ask it of me, I will do so.
She actually throws back her head and gives a laugh. You treat it like such a chore. Weary. We're friends.
And she waves a hand. No, my friend, I meant... And she sighs. It seems to send you into such despair when you know that the cards are your only window to this world. If that is the only thing that you can influence, then know that I will be your hands if ever there is something that must be done. If there is anything you ask of me, I will do it.
She shakes her head. I am content. I get a second chance that most never receive. And when your job is done, when your deeds have been laid, I will be able to go to my family. I do not need more than that. And with that, her form disappears.
And Weary thinks for a long while, just kind of sitting alone at the table. And eventually picks up the cards and puts the demon lantern at the top of the stack.
Okay, add a character real quick. Yeah, the idiot was because of the dream, but that was all the dice, baby. That was just a really good roll. With that, we'll pull back out a little bit narratively. People start getting up. You make breakfast for everyone. I assume the reactions to breakfast are not as harsh.
No, it's quite tasty. I really like the
Y'all
seasoning.
kept that from me.
What did you do different this time?
To the food? Like, was that something Ross actually asks?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
He doesn't know what's in it.
Mary snorts. Evidently, it adds some spice to the meal if your meal attempts to eat you first.
I'll have to keep that in mind. I wonder if it's a journal.
So long as you don't try and practice it, my dear.
Sure. And she pulls out her little notebook that she's always scribbling in.
Don't write that down. It was just a joke.
She's just got an entire page of advice from Weary.
and like at least 75% of it is total bullshit.
Oh yeah.
What are you teaching this poor child?
She bought it all, hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Robin,
She hasn't learned to discriminate yet.
Yes, sir.
where are you right now? Are you eating breakfast with the rest?
Robin would have come in for a few minutes. He would have eaten, made a presence, kept an eye on Erdegar every 2 or 3 minutes, and would probably wait for Miri to start washing dishes to see if he can butt in and do it for her, to her standards, if possible.
To which she will accept help, but no, you cannot take over. She will wash if you dry. That's fine.
Stands extremely attentively to not have that wet whatever linger in her hand a second longer than it has to. And does it completely with that.
All right. What about the rest of you? in this real morning.
I gotta admit that was really well played out. And bravo to y'all. That was really good acting.
Amelia is eating, but she's not eating very much. She looks fairly tense. But she's not really saying anything.
Ross looks over at Rhea and asks her, "How you holding up, kid?"
Well, of course I've been better, but we can't lose hope.
Definitely not. Right now, hope's what we need, and hope's what we have, right?
Of course.
So what's the next step?
And as you say that, and Robin, as you're about to open the door to go back outside, you hear a knock on it. One of those, like, your hands reaching out and you like knock, and you like stop for a second.
He pulls both daggers and puts his back against the wall and waits for someone else to come to the...
Amelia will come get the door?
You open the door. Standing in front of it is a short woman, probably in her mid-50s, that is very familiar to you. Yellow eyes looking up at you as Eris Yellow Eyes stands on your doorstep.
Amelia's never met her.
Ever? What?
No.
Nope, she was out of
I
the
mean, she might have like seen her at the feast and
that's
everything,
right.
but she wasn't around for that whole
man.
thing. Yep.
That's right.
Ah,
You were
but,
MIA. So,
yeah, so Amelia just like opens the door and she's just like, "Can I help you?"
Oh, but Mary is, of course, comes up behind Amelia and greets Eris. Good morning. It's been some time since we've seen you. Would you care to come inside?
yes, I would, if that's all right. It's pouring out there.
Of course. Come in, make yourself dry.
Amelia will step out of the way a little awkwardly.
Eris will step in and kind of shake her overcoat, like a long leather overcoat that she's wearing. It is good to see you, my friend. It may have only been a few weeks, but feels like much more.
We're not.
I'm surprised to hear news of you here. One of my scouts saw you entering this building, carrying a fair bit of meat, I guess, is what he said.
And Mary chuckles a bit to herself. If there's one thing I feel brings hope to people, it is a good meal.
She nods. Well then, maybe I can pile a little more hope on top of that. I came by to speak with you. Like I said, I was surprised that you were here, but this is very fortuitous. My people and I have much to make amends for. Our help with the Blood Veil has begun to have some in the Crimson Guard see us in a different light, but the population as a whole, I'm afraid, still view us as, well, were-rats. And she holds up her arms, which we are, but you understand.
Mary nods again.
We have been doing what we can to smuggle people out of Old Gravosa, to get them out of the worst of it. We know the waterways better than anyone, and we have been slowly but steadily helping those who are trapped here escape. If you have food to distribute, my people can certainly do that.
Muri nods, and plenty of it. I have been scouting this area, or having my familiar do so. For survivors, I can help coordinate.
I'm curious. Why are you here?
And Muri's eyes crinkle at the corners a little bit. This is my home.
She looks around. I see. But you are no fool, Murray. You would not come back here when it's so dangerous without cause.
No. Well, I suppose the question must be asked, do you want the long version or the short version? Either way, you might want to sit down.
She will have a seat, and of course nod to Rhea
And
Aras.
Miri will introduce everybody to everybody and serve up more food.
So, Robin, you are introduced to Eris Yellow Eyes, the leader of the city's were-rats. Robin, roll me a... There's no such thing as knowledge local in 5th edition. Knowledge history check. With advantage, because you've been here for quite some time.
Should Amelia do that as well?
You shouldn't have to. I gotta imagine where he's spoken of Eris Yellow Eyes to you. Or at least the were-rats in general.
Yeah, she probably didn't invite a fuck ton of people to the feast without being like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm vouching for them. They're cool.
Robin, jeez, okay, well, prowling the rooftops and streets at night has you cross paths with were-rats on a fairly regular basis, it would seem. They have a bit of a reputation in the city for being thieves and scoundrels and pickpockets, and some of it is certainly deserved. Some of it is more driven into that situation by the way society sees them, something that you would be familiar with. I don't know what you think of them personally. You've probably run into all manner of were-rats, some good-natured ones, some not so good-natured ones. It's up to you, really, how you take or feel of were-rats, but you're very aware of their presence in the city.
Okay, noted. He bows very politely and just resheathes his dagger and goes back outside.
Not common to see one of his kind. And Eris will take a seat. To save you time and stress, just let me know what you're not telling her or what you are telling her.
Mori will mention that they have a friend who has been kidnapped. She will not say by her abusive family, but it is heavily implied. She will tell of her desire to free old Corvos of the influence of the Emperor. And will say that one of their friends has been kidnapped, another one is missing. They're looking for multiple people.
She'll nod. Well, I'm afraid I may not be much help in that department. This emperor you speak of has... well, he is not fond of my people. We have been keeping a wide berth of him for obvious reasons. So perhaps it would be best for us to continue to do what we're doing to save as many people as we can from here. At the very least, I can distribute your food much more effectively than you could on your own, and I can promise you it would do a lot of good.
Murray nods. Help yourself, feed your people.
Also, just to let you know, Aras, you bought quite a few rations. You've already given them all out. You gave him
No,
out
I
all the first.
hadn't actually. The rations, we never called him yet, and he was holding them. The rations that I gave out already were the rations that I had in my backpack.
Okay. So you gave out all the
So-
rations that are on you.
Yeah, I gave out all the rations on me, but I have some blankets in my inventory, but I was gonna wait until we summoned not Timoronius, but
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom.
Baboon.
Baboon, yeah. So I was gonna wait until we summoned Baboon and get the packs and the rations and blankets from him, and then give them to Eris.
Gotcha. Well, give me a second. I'll look up and see how many he had.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea to check.
Mary will perhaps mention we came prepared. Because I think we also bought like healers kits and
Yep.
we bought a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately I wrote it down and I just haven't synced my cloud storage.
I'm glad you wrote it down because I don't have it in my notes how many you bought.
I bought all the healers kits he had, all of the rations and blankets. I think there were like 20 or 60, I don't know. It's irrelevant right now. We can go back and
Well,
figure it
yeah,
out.
we'll figure it out later. In any case, Eris will nod and she'll say, I also have a favor to ask, and this one might be more difficult. I did not expect to find you all here, but now that I have, And she'll look at, around each. I know that these people you're looking for must be important, but we could also use help. We do not know magic, and magic could be incredibly useful for helping people escape. There are people dying every day, and the more we get out of here, the more lives are saved. If you could spare anyone to help us, it would be Mince.
Mary nods slowly. Then I think it is pertinent of us to discuss a plan. It was my intention to evacuate this section of Old Corvosa before I do anything to antagonize the Emperor. I do not want innocent people getting in the way of a madman.
She leans back in her chair. You do realize that trying to evacuate Old Dock would infuriate the Emperor. Yes, this is his territory.
And Mary's eyes crinkle at the corners. Oh, yes. But I think that he has bought his power with fear, and it can be lost the same way.
Eris leans back, considering Murray. Murray, I count you as a friend. So when I say this, please take it in that spirit. I fear you may be overestimating yourself. You are powerful, no denying that. But the Emperor has a veritable army. He has fear for good reason. What, you think you're just going to dismantle that in a day?
Mary shakes her head. No. No, I'm afraid this would take some time, which is why I am open to alternatives. But I fear that our chances are equally bad simply marching up and asking him to leave.
Yes, that is true. And she looks around. These friends of yours that you're looking for, do they not take priority?
And there's kind of an uncomfortable silence. One of them, at least, is in the custody of the Emperor.
Well, as crazy as he is not without reason She hesitates. I guess a better way to put it is he can be reasoned with if you offer him something he wants. Might get you better results than trying to destroy his army. Unless you have some magical spell under that feathers of yours I've never seen before.
Moira shakes her head. I'm afraid spells of the killing kind are not what I'm best with.
Well, killing is something he excels at. So be careful. My people and I can continue to get people out of here, but evacuating an entire, even city block under his nose would never go unnoticed. I'm sorry, Murray, I can't risk that. I would get myself and the innocent people killed. And my people.
Moira nods. Very well. I would not ask that of you.
We've been focusing in other areas, where his grip and the Arconis' grip is weaker. But where chaos is still very much the order of the day. And you hear from across the room, Freya, I could help. I know a lot of spells that could aid getting people places unseen. And if they are found, I suppose I have a few spells that could help with that too. Eris
And
looks
Moira
at the
takes
rest
a
of you.
moment to think about this and nods slowly.
Freya will stand up and she'll say, like basically addressing everyone, I know that we need to find, and she'll kind of glance at Eris, our friends, and that must come first. But I also know, and she'll look at Murray, that your heart is torn by everyone still here. Perhaps I would do more good helping Eris here get as many people out as possible.
Or Ross will kind of speak up and, say that, maybe doing this will help you, not get over, but make peace with your brother by at least helping others. I know that, at least for me, it was, if I had jumped into all of this while still trying to deal with my brother's loss, I know I would definitely have made a mistake. Probably put myself in danger way too many times. Not that I haven't already, but I think this would be a nice change of pace for you.
I appreciate your concern, but I no longer mourn for my brother's death. I have chosen action over mourning. I will hold to that purpose.
Ross will kind of look at her. Can I do like an insight check? Yeah,
Sure.
because she doesn't
Sure.
believe that she's really gotten over it. She thinks that she's probably just delaying.
Sure, by all means, roll an insight check.
Um.
Anyone else is welcome to as well.
Ooh.
Wow.
20.
Well. All right.
Intimidation?
No.
Oh, sorry, and I clicked the wrong thing.
Jesus, Araz. I said this would
Tell
be a
me the
change
truth.
of pace.
So, sorry, it should be a +4 instead of a +2. So
Oh,
22.
22.
Ria's not paying attention.
Nope. Freya seems very honest and open, and does not have the stance or the body language of someone hiding depression or mourning or feelings of grief.
I think Ross just kind of thinks that she's still maybe in the denial phase.
Sure.
You
Possible.
know, so she'll just kind of look at her sideways and judge her up, and then say, well, anyways, I think it'll be a nice change of pace for you.
Perhaps. And in any case, I think that if I help Eris here, you guys will be able to, you will all be able to focus more fully on your task. Sometimes a division of strength is the smartest option.
Well, I mean... And Ross will kind of look at Eris' yellow eyes and be like, you haven't had a lot of casualties in this evacuation operation.
We have had some, yes. The Grey Maidens are very skilled and oddly can see extremely well at night. I won't lie and say that it's not dangerous. Freya shakes her head. I am not afraid of danger. And I have a purpose. And she looks at Aras. I will bring Faust back. I don't know exactly how yet, but I received insight from my teacher before, well, he gave me a thread to follow.
What do you mean, bring Faust back? I mean...
Not all that are dead are lost forever.
And you see Mary in the back. Something sad overtakes her, and she says, "Be careful, my dear."
Freya will look at Murray. Oh, I do not speak of undeath, Murray. I would not have my brother back so. Normally, I would just save up money and go to the temple and have him resurrected, but Faust made deals that are not easily broken. And while I don't fully understand them, I know a man who can help me. So until I find him, I will save my grief.
I would really enjoy learning more about this topic, but I don't think now is the best time.
Perhaps not.
Can we say you owe me a conversation later? Maybe when it's less chaotic?
Freya will smile. I would like that.
Stay in touch as best you can.
And Freya will nod and go to everyone else one at a time and kind of give a slight bow. She was never very good at like affection. She doesn't know how to affection people, so she just
do like the awkward fist bump and then half hug, handshake thing.
This poor child. Rhea just gets up and hugs her.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Weary is next in line and gives her a quick
Oh.
hug, letting her go quickly.
You all be very careful.
Aras is like, hand, fist bump. Let's.
Fist bumps. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
And then Weary's eyes sparkle. You have been with us when we have faced the disciples of gods. You of all should know that we're not very good at being careful.
She kind of laughs. True. Well, then stay alive.
That, I think, we can do.
And, well, you didn't exactly want me to tell you this, Mary, but just in case I don't get the chance later. Well, Baboom's a good guy. She just kind of looks away and then starts helping Eris pack the meat.
I'm assuming like Eris is busy and we are kind of off.
Right, Eris was packing all the meat up in a it looks like a bag of holding.
So Uras was like, well, speaking of Baboon, I mean, he is holding our supplies that we wanted to distribute. Should we? I mean, we could wait to call him later. Or now?
Who are you talking to?
Everybody.
Eris. Eris in particular.
Anybody but Eris.
Portly.
You know, she's like not sure if she should call him now or wait or.
The
I mean, we
thing
can
is
only
once a day, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
once a day.
Moira gives an appraising look at the food she has left. I suppose I could scrape together one more meal.
Maybe we can have or make plans with Eris for a drop point or meet up with her after we've called Baboon.
Eris would pause long enough and go, well, now that I know this place, I can always come back and even have some of my scouts keep an eye on it. Though from what I've heard, there have been people that have tried to come in here before and have not had a good time of it.
That's only if you're trying to break in.
And Weary gives us a soft laugh. I think you will not have such a problem.
She'll nod. But if you need to leave something, you can leave it here. My people can get it.
We can leave a mark on the side of the building, maybe?
She nods.
Something to let you
That's...
know.
And then she'll actually go to the table and she'll take out a small dagger and...
Ross is going to mention there is that wolf trap on the door. You know.
No, yeah, that's still there.
We could make it open means one thing and closed means something else, you know?
She, like, with the dagger tip an inch away from the table, looked like she was about to carve something on it. She goes, well, that could work quite nicely, actually. And she, like, slips the dagger away.
About to carve into Mary's fucking table.
About to vandalize the table, yeah.
I love how everybody was like,
Oh,
don't do
whew.
that.
So the bear trap open means don't come in because, you know, it's dangerous, and bear trap closed means come in and
I
something.
was thinking more along the lines of the bear trap remains closed unless there is something here for my agents to get.
That'll work. Sure.
Weary nods.
Is it...
That we can do?
Do you think... Would it be okay to use this place as a temporary safe house while we're moving people?
Weary nods. Of course, my friend. And should you need Well, should dire circumstances ever demand you need healing that a healer's kit cannot repair, you may always call upon me.
She nods. We will, though I have a feeling you won't be around so much, as busy as you are.
And she smiles. Perhaps, but if you ever see a house drake, you might try talking to them. Sometimes they know where I am.
Eris just kind of laughs. You're joking. They're all over the place. Can't get rid of the things.
Perhaps I'll ask him if he'd be willing to make himself stand out a little bit.
Give him a bow.
Right. Like Eris is sitting there thinking, like, I just have to start talking to house drakes now. House drakes in Corvosa are like stray cats. They are everywhere.
But I mean, could you imagine if stray cats could talk?
Like, yeah, I
they
understand.
probably talk to each other.
Well, but you guys know typically house drakes can talk, but they typically don't talk to people. Majinko is the odd one.
Well, maybe we just need to start making friends with all of them.
Sure. I mean, they help keep the imp population down, which is very important. All those imps, it's a bit of lore. Most of your characters would know this. Robin, you would definitely know this. But the university, the Academy of Corvosa, their graduation ceremony, or the graduation test, I guess you would say, is for the wizard to summon an imp. And it happens so commonly and so often, so many imps escape, that imps are often a scourge of Corvosa. And there are some nights where house drakes who hate imps will actually have full-on battle in the skies at night at Corvosa with imps.
So what you're saying we need to do is get the house drakes, try to form a union, and then it can be an organized spy network all around the city.
I love it. Let's do it.
Maybe they can tell who's sleeping with whom, who goes where.
Well, if Majinko has any friends, he's more than welcome to have him come over.
Majinko has made it clear to Murray, because I imagine this is something Murray would inquire, as Murray wants to take care of everyone. Most house drakes feel that the people of Corvosa serving them, so to speak, is beneath them. Some house drakes do. There are some many families in Corvosa that have house drakes as pets. But they are not looked upon favorably in the rest of their society, if that makes sense. Majinko feels it's different because he is not your pet, he is your friend, and he places a huge distinction in that.
Very important.
But Eris still
having
takes...
like a bird feeder out front.
Eris still takes what you say and nods, and then says, "Well, it's been a good day, and I think we can do a lot of good. Are you ready, Freya? I'll show you. Well, I'll begin showing you where we operate." And Freya nods and turns to everyone and says, "Well, I'll see you all soon, I guess."
Be safe, both of you.
And they both open the door and step outside. Robin, you see this Eris Yellow Eyes step outside carrying a bag of holding, and Freya appear right behind her. Oh, hello, Robin.
He nods politely.
I'm going to go with Eris and for a while. And she kind of nods her head back into the room. Make sure they don't do anything stupid.
He crosses both arms over his chest and nods, takes kind of a half bow to her.
And Eris is staring at you, Robin. Robin, roll me an insight check.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you see her staring at you, but you don't really get a reason why. It's just her eyes are looking into yours.
It happens all the time.
Sure. And she mutters to herself something intelligible, and she just nods to you eventually and makes her way down the street with Freya following. And for all our viewers, my dear brother, my younger brother, has gone to college. That brave soul graduated high school and gone to college, and for the time being, as crazy and hectic as his life is, he is stepping away from the game. Perhaps later, when college, he's gotten used to college and things have calmed down a bit, he may be back. But for now, he and Freya are walking a different path.
You know, when he gets used to not being a freshman.
When he gets used to the freedom, oh my god, if I went out and bought a whole thing of chocolate pudding and ate it, no one's going to tell me not to.
Yep.
Now I just need money to go out and buy chocolate pudding.
Called adulting.
Yay!
Chocolate pudding, a 5-pound bag of gummy bears, same difference.
Eating it for breakfast.
If you guys don't mind, let's take a quick 3-minute break. I need to get something to drink, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, go pet your dog, Squeak.
I know.
What? Something to drink. It's not like you talk a lot or anything. Gosh.
Jeez.
So needy.
Honestly.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if we can keep up with like this high maintenance bullshit for much longer. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah, where are we going on the applications? Do we have any interviews set up? 'Cause
Wait, what? Applications?
Oh, you came in so late to that. Okay.
Ross is like looking back over her notes. Did I forget to fill out something?
Oh my god.
Incredible. Do you not have your contract? They made me sign a contract.
Wait, what?
A good contract.
Does it come with a salary?
Yeah.
Y'all are
getting-
getting paid?
Yeah.
Why would we want celery?
God damn
To
it.
go with all the hugs, duh.
Rhea, honey, what you signed is called a prenup. And I think it's void if both parties aren't here.
Oof.
Oh.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mhm.
Oof. That one hurt a little bit, actually.
Oh.
Oh wow, it is really thundering.
Oh, it's
Was that
thundering there
you?
too?
Yeah,
Can you
watch.
hear
It's
that?
gonna thunder for 6 hours and it's not gonna rain, and then I'm gonna have to go out and water my garden.
You poor thing.
This must be a huge storm because it's thundering way out here in Atlanta too.
I mean, we've had like crazy rain, like
We're in
just
Florida,
absolute
dude.
downpours. In
Wait, why is that
for
like
the
different
past
than normal?
2 weeks? Because it was nothing but hot and humid for the past few months before that. But I mean, is typical, so yes. But
That
still,
sounds like
doesn't mean I have to like it.
You chose to live there. You must like it.
I did not.
Well, you know, your family chose it, so you have to like it.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
No, fuck you.
Well, fine.
What is it? Do you kiss your mommy with that mouth?
No.
Kissing is gross.
Cooties.
Fine. Interesting. I'm looking at a map that shows like the radar where all the storm clouds are.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, and well, not really Texas, so not Squee. But, you know,
It's Texas, they'll be fine.
a lot of the others are all covered in rain.
Fun, fun, fun.
So,
So,
what kind of non-trivial stuff can we discuss? Squee is gone. How can we get
I
back
mean,
for all these dreams?
I am back.
Damn it!
darn it!
Welcome back.
I have a good knack for doing that. You know, suggesting
Coming
an
back?
excellent, an excellent topic right before he gets here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the third time I've done it.
So, where were we? I think dragons were attacking. I believe that's it. Did we roll initiative yet?
That sounds about right.
We're gonna unionize the
Yeah, House Drakes United.
Yeah.
HDU, House Drakes United.
Well, you know, Hermione Granger had spew in Harry Potter, so.
Oh God. That's true. You know, though, it's just like Batman, though. You're just gonna make things worse because if you unite the House Drakes, the imps are gonna have to rise up to meet it and form the evil coalition of imps, the ECI.
So that's gonna be book 6, right?
Yeah, this is book 8, actually, of the 6-book
ECI?
campaign. ECI. Eki. Beware Eki.
Wow.
That's Eki.
Beware Eki. Especially if you're part of the hoodoo.
Are there 6 books in this campaign?
There are 6 books in this campaign.
Which
Yeah.
one are we on?
3.
3.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, huh?
So we got another 2 to 3 years of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
More if we keep up the pace of roleplay.
Fifth book might be shorter than usual. I know I've been looking around. A lot of people cut some content from that. I may or may not. But yes, we are halfway-ish through this campaign.
2040. Book 4 of Crimson Throne.
Woo!
Nice.
That just means that we've got so much more adventuring to do. So, let's stay in a narrative space here. I'm curious, what's the plan now? Gonna yeet yourselves at the Emperor, or what?
Yes,
I'm sorry,
we're
could
going
you
to
repeat
yeet
that?
ourselves at the Emperor.
Yeet!
Just like- I saw pictures of a catapult in chat earlier this week.
I mean,
Excuse
we
me,
don't
that was
have
an
the bar,
excellent
but
idea. Thank you.
fucking think Annika
what-
and a fucking catapult. It's empty.
Portly leads the way.
Oh my god.
Okay, but seriously, what are the short-term goals of the group right now?
Finish breakfast.
That's
Uh-huh.
a very, very, very short term.
Let's pull the scope back just a bit here.
Contemplate lunch. No.
We already had a plan, but like now she's not sure it's gonna work, so she's probably gonna keep it to
I mean,
herself.
you haven't even shared it with the rest of us.
Yeah, that's because it involves kind of a lot of work and like. So, Squee, why don't you explain to us what the scale of the Emperor's control looks like? How many people does he govern?
Sure. Well, most of this would be coming from Robin, believe it or not. Robin.
And I use the term govern in the loosest possible.
Right. Robin, you know a lot of this answer. I'd like you to roll me a gosh, I don't even know what this would be. I'm trying to think.
Ross's token.
I know a lot of what I do know too.
Yes.
Wait, I'm on the map? I couldn't see my...
No, look at your icon, please.
Oh my gosh. Hang on. I gotta move things for the viewers to be able to see. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
That looks like a background character from Shrek.
Well, I tell you what. Robin, why don't I just let you go and only have to roll if you feel if there's something you need to remember that you don't know already.
Oh, man.
That makes sense?
Yeah. So I imagine we're probably at some sort of debriefing around the table trying to figure this out. He'll definitely bother to come in for that. Information-wise, I can tell you that opinion, any man who calls himself Pilz and has a small army probably has a very large ego. I suggest simply knocking and bargaining with him. It's probably better than fighting our way through said army. And from what I understand, he isn't the nicest of fellows if you are caught in his territory.
Oh. Weary shakes her head. I'm afraid we have nothing to bargain with.
So there's something. Can I think of anything the Emperor would want or be interested in?
Yeah. Tell you what. No, I'm not even gonna have you roll a die for that. Your intelligence is 16. You know that the Emperor is drawn to several things. Power, of course, is something that interests him greatly. His guillotine is something that interests him greatly, though it's hard to know how that would leverage. He is interested in art, things that make him feel like a ruler, and art and decor and things of that nature. Robin, you also know that he is very fond of, and while you don't know a lot of details about it because you've never been a part of it for good reason, he's fond of a game that he forces his men to play.
Oh, is it Knivesies?
It's not Knivesies, no. It is not.
It's
Gonna
Forksies.
say fucking throwback.
Robin loves games. What is this game?
It's so you know the name. It's called Blood Pig. And you know it involves two teams.
Oh, I hate it already.
That's all you really know, and you know it's very physical. But he adores it. Other than that, I would actually like you to roll me an intelligence check on this one. Okay. 15. You know, more than just a hunch, but you know that he does tend to be a man of ego, as he is very quick to be praised, as in, groveling in front of him, and also quick to anger if he feels insulted. You know that he has maybe 40 to 60 men under his command, though there are usually a lot of them are out on the town. You know what I mean? Like, overall, you've estimated maybe 60 men, though how many of them are in one place at one time is really hard to tell.
Robin shares all of this information, and in addition says that he wouldn't mind playing a new sort of game. It sounds entertaining.
Also, this green square that I have placed, that is about the extent of his influence, at least where he is strongest.
Oh, okay. So the orphanage is not. right in there?
No, you're on the very edge.
Yeah, okay.
Can any of you paint, or we could present ourselves, gain attention of guards, and volunteer to play some sort of game for his entertainment? Feeding his ego's probably the way to go. I'm not a good liar.
Mary snorts. I'm not in the habit of feeding the egos of others, I'm afraid. There is nothing I detest quite like a man full of self-importance.
Robin takes a noticeable sigh and says, I will default to you, of course.
She shakes her head. No. The idea is a good one. I'm afraid I might just need to be, well, on the sidelines for that.
He looks around the table, hoping someone else has other input.
Why do you need... I'm so lost.
Lost about what?
Everything, but Ross says that out loud.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, we need to talk to the Emperor, as that's where our next lead takes us. I'd rather not fight his army.
Sure. But why, Mori, do you need to be...
Did you not hear any of that?
No, I did. I just didn't... I'm sorry. Right now I have the memory of a goldfish, so... Blame it on the
No,
medication.
she was letting you know that groveling is not her strong suit, and she doesn't really like people who hold themselves in that high esteem. And that if we are planning on playing to his ego, that she might want to sit to the sidelines for that one.
Got it. Sorry. So we either go in and play to his ego, or we don't, and then go in. I'm not sure, like, if we have any other options.
You said something about painting?
He's a man who enjoys art. I'm not very good at it myself, but
Well, unfortunately, my sister's not here.
I mean,
and I'm
Mary gives a soft bark of laughter, isn't she?
does it have to be a painting, or like I can craft something jewelry-wise, but I'm not sure we want to wait that long.
We
I'm
could-
not a master painter, of course, but I've done a bit in different arts at the Order. I am, of course, more fluent in music.
I feel like the more we do, the better chance we have. Again, it's about the ego. What emperor does not like a box full of gifts when you show up for a visit?
Can any of us sing? Or write lyrics to accompany
Too soon.
Rhea?
Oof. I could attempt to write something. It's a bit hard thing while playing my instrument, but if someone else would be willing, I suppose.
I mean, you were teaching me some on the recorder. I could
The recorder?
try to accompany along. You know, that one time.
Rhea, were you
That we were at
teaching
Pan
anyone
Park?
anything on the recorder? I will de-level you right now.
Rhea doesn't even have a recorder. Where the hell did you get a recorder?
All recorders in Corvosa are cursed with drain level when played.
Oh my god.
That's just what Aras thought the
I
panpipe
think-
was the first time.
Oh yeah, her pan flute. Because
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
playing Shala's violin at the
Yeah, I had referred to it as a recorder the first time, so I was just keeping it up. Sorry.
Oh my god, did you really?
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
I not notice that?
That
You
was
were-
so
you
intentional.
Yeah, you were kind of in a mode, to be fair.
Oh my god. So did Ross just actually say something to Rhea just now about a recorder?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And she was referring to the pan flute and the
No.
time that on the top of the roof of the
No,
warehouse.
I know. I just
Okay.
needed to make sure that was in character. Oh my god, okay.
Real quick, before you go back in character, I just wanted to point out, especially to Mwiri and Amelia, your character sheets, for whatever reason, I can't figure out why, have less spell slots than you should.
Yeah, we didn't ever finish like leveling
No,
up
no,
Mary.
no, I did. I just leveled up Mwiri. She's good to go, except you just need to choose a feat. But it didn't update your spell slots. And Amelia, I've noticed yours too. You have 2 3 levels and 2 4th levels. You should have 3 3 levels and 2 4th levels. I don't know why it only gave you 2.
That's weird.
And
yeah, no,
Mwiri,
I had to manually add the second, 4th level spell.
do you know how to manually add them?
I knew at one point.
And Mwiri, you need a second 4th level spell.
Okay, yeah. So when you go down to mode, click it from combat to standard to preparation, and then you can change the number of spell slots.
Stop! Get out of my! I was just there.
Sorry. So sorry. Yeah. So change that for yourselves. Amelia, you have 3. Good. Perfect. And then Mwiri, just give yourself a second 4th level, and then you're good to go. Just
Yeah,
choose
I
a
don't
feat.
know why I did that, but it was really weird.
Choose a feat,
do I
my
choose?
friend.
Do I choose a feat from the library?
Anything but homebrew. Yeah. So anything in that feat
No,
library.
like how do I
Ooh.
physically add it to my sheet?
Oh
I
yeah,
already
you
know
can
it's taken.
you can just drag it over
Yeah. Just
From
click on the
where?
little shield,
from the feats.
drop.
Yeah, that feats menu. Just drag and drop the shield.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You can just type it in the search bar at the bottom and then drag it over.
No, I gotcha.
But otherwise, you are now level 8 and good to go. Oh, you chose that one.
I told you I was gonna.
Yeah, I know. I forgot. It's my favorite feat.
Actor.
Is this something you want to keep hidden, or do you want to let the other players know what you picked for your feat?
Nah. What does Weary do in fights? Weary
Cluck.
heals people. I
So
think
obviously
her feat
she
might
so
have something to do with that.
obviously she chose great weapon attack.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. I was thinking more heavy armor, but that's fine.
I already have heavy armor. I'm a cleric.
I know. That was okay.
Okay, that was a joke. I'm sorry.
I'll just be over here.
Right,
So-
right over my head. I'm sorry. Are we jumping back into character?
Yes.
Yeah. Before
Okay.
we do that, well,
So no.
no, Ross, I have a question in character that Okay, so Aras has been thinking about like art and stuff like that, right? And so she also like reaches back into her bag and she pulls out a bunch of drawings of Darvanier, the Chilaxian diplomat, and is like, I mean, if he enjoys
Not
art,
doing naked gay porn.
would,
Oh my
would any
god.
of these work?
Why do you still have that?
You just never got rid of it.
Oh, I have
Reference
everything.
material.
What is on these pages?
Oh boy.
Oh
so
man.
sorry.
Drawings of Darvanier, a Chilaxian diplomat, and Samson, a sex slave?
Not a slave. He was very consensual. A sex
Yeah.
worker.
Yeah, sex worker.
Very
And
compromising
I'm assuming leather
pictures.
and whips and other stuff was involved,
So-
and it was graphically
Why do you have
depicted.
these?
So Wings a long time ago, and I guess Allison too, because it's been so long. A long time ago, they used these pictures to blackmail. They got these as blackmail. They were drawn, very well done drawings of. Think like draw me like your French girls, Jack.
Yeah.
But it was
We'll call
far
them
more
tasteful nude pinups.
They were anything but tasteful.
Would
Tasteless nude pinups.
And so Ross pulls this out. Of course, I'm imagining like on the dinner the table, and it's like, well, would any of these be?
And then you just hear him weary heave a sigh.
And I need to point out, Samson is a very large orc.
Yep.
Robin puts his finger on one and slides it slowly over to him and cocks his head to the side, evaluating for a minute. Eyebrows goes up and then he slowly nods as he slides it back and says, "Yes, that counts as art."
On a technicality.
Hiding her face.
Rhea has just opened her mouth to answer about the recorder thing, and she sees this art pulled out, and she just whips her head the other way.
I completely forgot about those.
I didn't know you still had those.
God.
Yep.
Are we supposed to give that to someone?
We burned down the place instead, so it didn't matter.
Oh god, that's Margo wanted it! Holy shit.
What?
That's the best answer ever.
Emperor's lucky day.
You're welcome. So, really, the reason you're sitting here is because Larry kicked over a stove on purpose.
I mean, it's fine art. It's ample blackmail against a diplomat. I mean, the Emperor could have a field day with these.
Why?
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to give blackmail on a diplomat to a dictator.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they were obtained to be distributed, and Aras did promise to, say, make
Distribute
the
it?
flyers and distribute them. He just hasn't quite had a chance to yet. So, this could just be the Emperor getting fine art and Aras fulfilling a promise.
This is Ross realizing she's been slacking and trying to make up a quota now.
Right? She
Jesus.
has. She made a promise, and these are too good not to see the light of day.
No.
I love
No.
it. And Robin's right.
No.
These do qualify as art.
The Emperor might like them.
Exactly. Who knows? I'm not going to judge anybody by their taste. We can bring a few different samplings of different styles of art, some drawings, some music
Nope.
performances. I even have a leather artistry kit.
Don't we have a creepy paintbrush he might appreciate too? I don't really want to give him a magic weapon, but
Moiri sits back against the counter and says, "Well, I'm afraid I am not built for singing, and I have no skill with artistry, save cooking."
Maybe not cooking, but I do have a love potion. That would,
She snorts. "I think you underestimate how much royalty," and she says it with the utmost disdain, "enjoy pretentiously good food."
that also has a love potion hidden in it.
Not quite.
Okay.
Alright, fine, gosh.
I want to use those pictures. I want to use the love potion. Come on!
Picked this up $2 ago.
Don't worry, you can give it to Camille.
Hmm.
Which one?
Might need to thaw that heart first.
Hey
Well, that would
man,
be-
Mary's working on it. Just by just insulting her. Well, not really.
Yeah,
insulting
I
her,
was
but,
gonna say, man, you're off to a great start.
I mean, I don't think we really want to hurt him, so the the flask of curses is out. You know, and she's like looking into her
for
bag as this is
yourself.
going on.
I'd love for the motherfucker to just die.
Worry, such language.
Well, we
Jesus
don't-
Christ.
Want that to be
not
our.
in character.
I know.
It's not our first line of attack, so. Any other suggestions for art or how to win over the favor of the emperor without selling our souls?
How to win over your favorite dictators for dummies. That's
Pretty
what
much.
we need.
Wait, I have that right here.
Oh god.
Well,
Amelia doesn't really have like artistic talents.
She can face paint the Emperor.
Oh my god. Would you like to be a lion or a tiger?
yeah.
Christ.
I am not a good tactician. I'm really good at throwing out crazy ideas.
And drawings. and
Honestly,
and you're a pack rat.
And playing the recorder. Those are my skills.
Yeah.
what?
Murray had one plan, but
Gonna lie, both me and Amelia as a character just really are not not really interested in like schmoozing this guy, even if it's like fake. Like, and she's also like terrible at lying as is, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of experience and we've had a lot of dice rolls that have told us this is not a stealthy party.
No.
We tend to face things head on or not at all.
Well, and I guess the Emperor stays. Time to go.
Oh boy.
But so, and Ross will kind of look at Robin. I'm willing to do any of these or all of these. Do you think one would be better over the other?
He shrugs with one side of his shoulder and just shakes his head and says, I don't know really. I've been shooting in the dark mostly, but everything counts. As long as we don't face him head on, we should be fine. We could play it by ear when we get there, as that seems to be what you're all a little more familiar with.
I mean, we tend to make plans, and then when that goes, well, not as planned, we end up improvising. And it's
For better or for worse, yes.
so. If we're doing business as usual, we make some kind of crazy, half thought out plan and then roll with the punches?
Very sure. I admit I had thought about going about this differently, but if I can get my hands on some quality ingredients, I could probably make some meals fit for a king. Again, she says it with just dripping with disdain.
Well, we could send a message to Baboon. He could bring the quality ingredients with him, along with the blankets and rations and stuff. And we could make the Emperor a nice meal and delightful entertainment of raucous drawings and music. I mean,
We could, if we have coin, I believe, also pay Baboom be there with us.
yeah, definitely. I also have like some rather expensive gems and stones and stuff we could use as a bribe that if we eventually kill this guy, maybe we could get back later.
We could bring Portly.
Robin smiles a little and says, so what you're telling me is we're going undercover as a bunch of bards. That's the ingenious plan.
Amelia just gives like kind of a sour face.
This is echoed with Mary, who looks just supremely unhappy about all of this.
Amelia just kind of mutters, like slinking down into her chair, just like, I mean, there's always guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, we can definitely do that if this might at least get us in the room and
Yes, and
take them off guard.
Filled with all of his men who could kill us.
We could also, stand outside and start shooting at people. I'm not sure.
What?
I've got a pretty long range. It'll take a while for them to get to me.
Emperor, sir, there's 5 crazy people shooting at us from outside.
I'm sure I could make a nice ghillie suit that would make me blend in with the furniture, walls.
I'm sorry.
Might take them.
You can make a what?
It's a hunting thing. Like camouflage, right?
I mean, like the butterfly.
I was meaning I could make it so that I look like a building or a pile of trash and nobody would realize it was a person shooting. With my silencer and stuff, I mean, I'm just throwing out options here. You wanted guerrilla warfare.
Mary shrugs. It is an option, though I'm not sure we want to spare the time on, I don't know, what are we calling it? Seducing him with arts? I'm not particularly interested in making friends with him. And quite frankly, the quicker he dies, the better.
Amelia sits up and sits forward a little bit and says, I mean, right now, one of the important things we need to make sure is that he's not going after the people trying to escape. If anything, this would be a good distraction. Maybe we could coordinate with Eris and...
Moiri shakes her head immediately. I'm not putting Eris on the front lines. She is already doing enough.
No, I didn't mean her or her people would be fighting with us. I mean, we could do something to draw attention to a particular part of his territory and give them time in another area to get away. It's just an option.
So, like setting fires or explosions in some random, or even causing riots or upheaval in one area while Eris Yellow Eyes is working in another?
Moiri nods slowly. And I don't think there's anything that would irritate him. Quite like the symbols of his power simply disappearing. The people strung up headless. Gone. the markings on the buildings. Gone. The damage repaired. If we want to take it a step further, I would be... Well, I think it would be quite a blow if his little scouting party simply disappeared without a trace. His little army whittled away until there are precious few standing at his feet.
I mean, that seems all well and good when we have all the time in the world to dismantle his operation one piece by piece. But
Van Carlo is on a timeline. I would like it if we just decide on a plan and go down there. Even if it's just burning, I feel like we should at least start walking. Muri, I understand your hate, and if you want him dead, I will kill him. But know that I disagree with this method. People could be caught up in flames.
And Weary chuckles. I would like it noted that this time the fire was not my idea.
I was just, building on your idea of dismantling his regime one at a time.
She nods.
I don't think Cressida wanted us burning things down anymore.
No, and I would rather not leave the people here homeless. They have little enough as it is. I think fire is out of the question.
Okay. But are we slowly dismantling his operation? Are we going in guns blazing? Are we trying to persuade him with
Do
riches
we want to
and...
go out of character and talk about this for a little bit?
Sure.
Because I feel like we're kind of going around in circles.
Do we want to go in diplomatic or not?
I was gonna say, yeah. Sorry, I was muted. I was about to say, or trying to say the same thing where he said, "You guys are, its characters kind of going in circles." So, out of character, real quick. There have been a few things proposed. There has been going in guns blazing, however you intend to do that. Going in under some form of deception, be that with art, be that with music, or as something else, or that's about it, actually. Those are the only two real things that have been brought up so far. Or dismantling his operation piece by piece, though, as Robin pointed out, you guys are on a bit of a clock.
Just a tiny bit, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you from spending 2 months doing this.
I will.
I mean, I'm kind of intrigued to see what his response to the paintings would be. And if that backfires, we could then start shooting or slicing.
Just make some tasteful nudes of him.
So, if you guys don't mind my advice, without giving anything away, if you are having trouble coming to a conclusion about what you should do, perhaps you should seek guidance from other people. If you aren't, and you're pretty set, like you know what you want to do, then make a vote and go.
I don't think anybody's really happy with the options that we have in front of us, but that might just be me. So the question is, who would we talk to?
Now that I can't necessarily help you with, but I can let you know who's at your disposal. Of course, talking to people in detail would be kind of limited. You could summon Baboom to you and talk to him as much as you like. Talking to other people like Cressida or Ria's family, you could do so via message, though those would be fairly short conversations. I'm sure you could track down Eris again. I admit your options are a bit limited, but my advice is always, if you are stuck and don't like your options, well, seek guidance.
I mean, we could also
Oh, go ahead.
try to seek out, advice around in the town. Maybe we can talk to somebody and find a place or time when the Emperor would be vulnerable.
We could track down the dude that Robin marked and be like, "What's up? You work for us now."
He was healed.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's too
Yep.
bad.
So not marked quite so much.
I tried.
Gertz.
Well, real quick, Muiri can see and hear through Majenko, correct?
Yeah, Robin also
Up
has a familiar.
to a certain extent, I think it's 100 feet.
Fuck.
Well, we do have one potion of invisibility still. And Mori could then use the walkie-talkies to very silently relay a message to others.
I was thinking something a little more sneaky, but if it's only 100 feet, then that doesn't do anything.
We can also probably see if there are any more invisibility scrolls or something available from Baboon. We were also going to leave the stock here and I think set the trap outside, right? So they know to come pick up resources.
Yeah?
So we could start with summoning him, use him for advice, get our stuff that we think we can use a plan over, because he's got more resources on him than we do right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 3 birds, 1 stone.
I'm good with that. That's a place to start, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So is everyone in agreement with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
It would be 160 gold pieces for invisibility from Baboon.
180.
Hey, don't I have an elemental?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
An earth elemental.
Yay.
Flashbacks.
I think there's also tons of group money too we could probably put towards this as a group goal. So.
Yeah. That's an excellent use of the elemental, I think.
So,
If we could find a time in which the Emperor were to, say, leave his palace,
Just send an elemental after him.
well, at least to take off the little guys while we're shooting or doing whatever from a distance.
Have I seen or heard the Emperor ever leave his palace?
I'm not even gonna be real for it. No, he does not.
Also, Rhea is not one for distance, as you have seen in the past.
Oh, yeah, but it's just I could take 5 or 6 shots at him, he could lose health points until he closes that distance.
Yeah, I would say, just as a GM, you don't know enough to even begin making a plan like that. You don't know where he is or how enclosed the space he stays in is or anything like that. You'd have to have more info.
I mean,
Because he could be in a dungeon for all you know.
We could also, say that we were going to give him certain things and be invited in, and then sleight of hand, whoa, where'd this elemental come from? And it's killing everybody, and we're cowering until enough people are taken out or something. You know.
Yeah.
Can one sleight of hand an elemental, like a whole ass elemental?
There would probably need to be a pretty big distraction going on. Even with an elemental gem, you still gotta take that thing and shatter it, and it makes noise. I mean, it's possible if people's attention is elsewhere.
If you're invisible, would breaking a gem be considered an attack?
It would be considered an action that would break your invisibility, yes.
Okay. But say if you, were invisible and hiding behind other people, you know.
It's very possible.
You could everyone use an invisibility potion, go in, find Salvatore, feed him an invisibility potion. On the way out, one person crushes it, drinks the last invisibility potion, and we all get
I love it.
And we just let the elemental destroy the whole palace.
Yeah, you can light it on fire once we're gone, too, just for good measure. Burning and elemental. Run, bitch.
No.
I hesitate to suggest. I really don't want to split up people to, one group to find Salvatore, one group to keep everybody distracted. But that seems kind of like that would make a lot of sense.
I will say, since you guys do have these services available to you, there's a much cheaper way to do this than chugging down tons of invisibility potions. Baboon cast invisibility at 4th level.
I'm not familiar with that. What does that mean?
It means that
you can select multiple people.
Yes.
Oh.
8, I think, right?
Hang on 1 second. Let me look up the actual spell itself. Depends on what level invisibility is. I think it's 3rd. Hang on.
Oh, he has it listed as 4th.
Well, yeah, he casted it at 4th level because he's a warlock.
Yeah.
So it's a 2nd level spell. So that means he could do 3 people with each casting.
Oh shit.
So like we could have 2 casting. He could make all of us invisible. We then go find Salvatore Scream, feed him our bottle of invisibility potion.
Assuming he wants to come with us.
We'll knock him out.
We don't know what kind of shape he's
Yeah,
in.
no, he has no choice.
Yeah, we'll take care of this real quick.
Don't we have like a ball, like chains of binding?
No.
Not anymore.
Damn.
That's a sore spot for Amelia.
Is that what got...
Camille kind of walked in and took it.
Sorry to.
No, it's fine. That's right. You weren't here last session, so you guys captured that guy using the bindings.
Yeah.
The group left him in a closet because they didn't really know what to do with him, and they left. And while they were gone, Camille just walked in, scooped him and the magic item up, and walked out.
Well, Kitty wouldn't have allowed that, but that's fine.
Kitty would have been
Kitty
with
wasn't
you.
there.
Yeah, the only person that was there was Annika. You were not there to leave Kitty. If you had been there that session, that's different. But
that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways,
We also left both Kitty and Portly at the orphanage. So
that's right. That's right.
House.
Kitty and Portly were both at the orphanage.
That's right. Yeah, that's where they were at. Sorry. Anyways, we could tie him up with rope and bind him and gag him, and then
the old-fashioned way.
Make him invisible, and
or we could bludgeon him in one shot, then make him invisible and just drag him out.
So I think we're settled on maybe having
Love
Baboon.
the enthusiasm.
I've seen Rhea carry shit.
Yes, Rhea can carry shit. It's the
I bet she can
that
hit
has
someone in the
actually.
head real hard with an
Sadly,
object.
Rhea is not my cleric.
So
Hey, you know what?
bludgeon the shit out of everyone.
How about 2 birds with 1 stone? You hit him over the head with the elemental gem.
Oh my god.
And summoning it.
Oh my god! I mean, the elemental is under your control, so.
Yes.
And then we escape in the chaos.
This train went wildly off the rails.
And leave the new drawing, so the Emperor has just no clue what's going on.
I love it. Let's leave. Let's steal.
We lost the prisoner, but hey, we gained this really
All right.
classy porn.
Okay, looks
I'm good with
it looks like you guys got the workings of a plan.
Do we?
I think.
For us, this is pretty typical and good for us.
Okay, well let's actually get Baboom over here with all the shit that he should be bringing anyways.
Yep.
At least, and we can.
So
I don't know.
So was there extra? We wanted to also, before he comes over, we wanted to message him and have him bring over food for a really nice meal.
Let's put a pin in that.
Okay, so we're just telling him to come and bring the food and blankets, any food, whether it's cooked or not, and rations and blankets and healing kits.
Shit.
And himself.
Is there anything besides him that we want to add to the shopping list?
Uh,
And
Want
Hilda's
another element?
backstory.
did you guys want invisibility potions? I mean, I don't think Baboom can get all of you. He can get 3 of you, probably including himself.
How many 4th level spells can he cast?
Well, it's concentration. So
Got it. So 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a couple of
I used 1 because I was gonna die, and we had 1 left.
He also has some in his inventory, so you can just ask him if you're having him come anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can do
yeah.
that. Oh yeah, 2 potions of invisibility in his. Wow, at 180 gold. Okay, sure. This will be. I hope Scream's worth it.
Worst come to worst, I have a potion of growth. It's fine.
All right.
Scratch that. 2 potions of growth. All right.
All right,
that's
so-
Baboom.
so you-
Ross
you-
takes out the earring and.
It's more like a metal disc that you carry on you. You know what, like a tea saucer. It's that size.
Okay, and she rubs it like, expecting a genie to come out.
Got it. Like
Is
Ross rubs it. Nothing really happens, but you focus on it,
she's
and
like, hello?
you hear in your mind, Ross, my friend, it has been way too long. How are you?
Doing well in Old Corvosa.
Ah, so you made it over. Good, excellent. Is there anything Great Baboon can do for you?
Well, we wanted you to come and bring those rations and blankets and wondering if you were busy and wanted to help us save an innocent person who was captured by the self-appointed emperor and help us find him and save him. We will, of course, would compensate you.
It is so strange. I was just telling Brunhilde earlier today, I could really use an adventure to perhaps save someone in distress with the right amount of coin. It's like our minds are connected.
Well, we have coin.
Excellent.
We will pay for help.
Well then, I'll be there in a few minutes.
Thank you. Any extra food that you may find or have come by, or blankets, or,
I will see what Brunhilde can scrounge up.
Thank you.
Click.
So, yeah, click. So, I guess he'll be here soon? I think I forgot to ask how long it would take.
He did say a few minutes.
Ross isn't going to tell that, but,
Yeah.
should be soon, I think.
So.
Yep.
Okay. So a few minutes pass. You're all just kind of waiting around. And in there's a sound like a crack, and it's as if there's a dimension door. Robin, not quite similar to yours, but the same basic concept. Right in front of Ross, who is holding the medallion, a Baboom appears, large and in charge apparently. Now, appears laden down with a large sack, about 4 feet long, and with just a crack and a puff of dust. Which, of course, Murray, there is no dust in this house. You take care of it. And as he arrives, he goes, "Ha-ha! I have come! Welcome to me!" And he's got his arms wide and his head up. And he goes, "Ah, my friends, it has been way too long. It has been days you haven't called me or asked for assistance. I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about old Baboom."
No, we just had other business.
Of course, I understand. You are very busy in a very dangerous part of town, he says, like looking around. Yes, but how goes things? How goes the have you spread the word far and wide of baboon services?
We have. I mean,
Roll me a deception check.
well, no,
with
I mean,
advantage because Umir is about to pitch in and be like, we have someone who will distribute any wares that we buy from you.
I mean, Kitty has been wearing the bandana.
Rhea is also wearing the bandana.
He
Good stuff.
he looks. He goes, excellent, excellent. So, and he drops the bag like unceremoniously on the ground. First things first, and he'll go straight to Amelia first, and drop into a deep bow. Amelia, my friend, you are ever more pretty. As always, the drawings upon your face are like the blue skies above the clouds.
Oh my god. When he like drops into the bow, she's just like, "Oh please," and then he like starts going on about that, and her face just goes red.
And then he moves over to Portly and he goes, "You, I do not know your name, but the baboon does not need to know the name of such a good boy." And he starts like scratching it behind the ear.
Oh no.
He would go back to Aras and he'd go, "And Aras, of course, my lovely dwarf, you are as short as the day I first met you and as stout." And he
Ross
bows.
just kind of squints her eye at him like, no. Her height is just a tiny bit of a sore spot for her.
Well, can't hit the bullseye every time. Moves on to Rhea. And Rhea, my sweet, I do hope that you are holding up in these trying times as well as your beauty does. And he bows.
Rhea will blush a little bit and just say hello.
And he will go over to Robin. Did Robin ever introduce himself to Baboon?
He bought some stuff off him. I don't think
Yeah.
that they conversed much. But he did purchase stuff off of him.
And he would, of course, go over to Robin and bow just as deeply and say, "And Robin, my dark, dark friend, you are as mysterious as ever." And he bows.
Robin's already flipping through gold coins, and he like barely looks up from the purse and says, "Is this a service you offer to all of your customers, or are we just special? By the way, can I get some identify spells?"
You, all of you, he holds up, are special. In fact, you're my only clients. And yes, of course you can.
Do we need to do the identify right now? Can we just wait? You know,
Robin pulls out a cloak, a set of boots, some gloves, and a flask, and throws it all in a pile and looks at you.
We might want to wait until after we fight, where we have a little bit more time to look at it and, you know,
Would
but like,
heading
could be
immediately
useful.
into the thick of it.
well, sure. Oh, okay. So, sure.
I'll pay for it. Don't worry.
And as you're all saying that, Baboon has crossed over to Mary, and he actually takes a knee, and he goes, "Mary, once again I stand before your feathery loveliness. Though if it were you could fly, I sometimes lament your inability to do so, but then I realize that the brilliance you would shine down upon all of us would leave us blind."
And she
Robin
blandly at
coughs.
him, and there's a moment where she rumbles a laugh, and then she gently takes his arm and pulls him upright. "I think we are all better off with both of my feet on the ground." And she hands him a plate of food.
"Oh, you cooked for me. He looks, for the first time any of you have ever seen him, like he's at a loss for words.
Her eyes crinkle up at the corners and she says, I think you'll find I am always good for a free meal, whenever you need it.
That is... No one's ever cooked for me before other than Brunhilde.
And I'm glad you mentioned her. And she reaches into her voluminous poncho and pulls out a small bag and presses it into his hand. She strikes me as the kind with a sweet tooth.
You are struck correctly, as deeply as you have struck my heart. And he slowly turns away and starts eating the food. But yes, I did the furry squirrels. Of course I have them. I have many things. I also said something about food and rations and invisibility and an adventure. Yes, adventure was mentioned. What is this grand adventure that you are embarking on that requires so many rations and invisibility potions?
And did he actually take what Mary offered him?
Oh my god, he's eating it. He's straight up.
She offered him a little bag of candy.
Oh yes, he definitely took that and pocketed it, and gave it a pat, in the inner pocket. He put it in.
Gotcha. As you might have noticed, Old Corvosa is not a safe place to be. The rations are for those who are fleeing and those who are aiding those who flee.
Yes, you mentioned something about holding these for that purpose. So it is as bad as the rumors say over here.
I'm afraid so. I recommend looking outside with caution.
I see. That is unfortunate. I do not like the idea of so many people suffering. But, yes, and he goes over to the bag of holding and starts pulling out ration after ration after ration and makes a small pile of different foodstuffs. Dried meats, jerky, vegetables, things of that nature. In fact, he keeps pulling out more and more and more, and it's far more than you saw that he had on his wagon. And as he's doing so, he says, when you said this to me, that you were looking for food for the downtrodden, I felt that my inventory was lacking. So Brunhilde and I made a slight stopover asking for donations in the highlands of Corvosa. He just keeps pulling out more and more food. The rich up there will not miss it, I'm thinking, yes?
We appreciate it.
Murray nods. Anything that can be spared will be used. That reminds me. And she pulls a huge iron wolf trap off the wall, and with a huge crack opens it.
Baboon looks up. It is, if you're looking to hunt wolves, that seems a bit of an overkill.
She shakes her head.
But
No, not today. And steps outside to hang it on the door open.
Oh, Ross chimes in. It's quite an effective signaling mechanism.
Sure, absolutely. Especially if the one getting the signal is supposed to lose a hand. And he just keeps pulling out more food. He is pulling out a veritable just pile of different types of foodstuffs. And at the end, he kind of drops the bag and dusts his hands off. And he goes, this is everything we could find in a short amount of time without too much notice. Not that I am not 100% convinced that they would have given it had I asked. I simply did not see the need to burden them with such a decision.
We,
All of this is stolen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
I-
boy.
From the
I
rich people.
appreciate it, but please don't take undue risks upon our behalf.
It is kind of you to worry about me, but I assure you, compared to what most people are facing in the city, it is but child's play for me and Brunhilde. This pile is a discount, 10 gold for the whole thing.
Yeah. And Aras just like reaches into her bag of holding and pays him without even thinking.
He nods and he goes, It's a good deal, as to be quite honest with you, my profit is fairly high on this one. And
Yeah, I bet it is.
and he says, Mhm.
Still greatly appreciated.
Well, it is obviously all I can do to make you the happiest dwarf in the world. Though I should stress that some of this food will not be good for more than a few days, eh?
That's. I don't think that'll be a problem.
Ah, excellent. Well, then the next order of business, and he'll take the bag back out and go to Robin. I believe you were asking for identify, yes?
4.
While this was going on and before he started pulling out the food, Aras had already started to do identify as a ritual when Robin indicated that we needed it now. So she's in the middle of studying one of those items.
Okay, how many items are there?
4.
And which are these items? So I lost track of what items we were referring to.
Cloak, boots, gloves, and flask.
Oh, blackjack stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Baboon will see that Aras is on the ground, and Aras, you'll have to describe this to me because your way of magic is not like everyone else's. What is your form of identify?
Well, I kind of like touch it and now that I'm a follower of Desna, I will try to do some magic, let me commune with the nature to see if there's a magic aura, and then also trying to like look at every nook and cranny, see if it does something.
That's not a cleric spell, is it?
Identify? No, it's not.
It is not, but I'm trying, like, she's trying to embrace magic, you know.
I imagine with Aras, it is still much more a scientific and inquisitive mind that is beginning to utilize magic.
Oh yeah, she's still like trying to identify, like, I can't imagine this because I'm not in that world, like how you would identify magical particles. You know, but I feel like she's got to have had some way as an artificer. If she can infuse magic into an item, she can somehow identify magical items.
Baboon would see you doing this and he would say, it is not the most common method of identifying magical items, but she's getting the basics right, I assume. And he'll look back to Robin. How quickly were you needing these done? I could, of course, identify each for 10 gold apiece, but it will take me about 10 minutes or so per item. Or I could do them much more quickly for a bit more gold.
He looks to Aras and is like, are you sure you're alright spending your time doing this?
Well, maybe Baboon and I could work together, and he could show me his technique of identify, and perhaps it would improve upon my technique. And then maybe it would only be 20 gold in 20 minutes.
For you guys, this is of course a good deal. I'll do this.
Alright, so Robin's gonna pay for 2 of the items straight out with scrolls, probably. And then allow Baboon and Aras to spend time together as an experience.
Got you. Oh, so you want to buy scrolls for 2 of them?
Yeah, he's just gonna pay for 2 of them to get done immediately. He feels bad making Uras and Baboon work at it, but he found it a bonding experience, so didn't want to.
A baboon would, as you're counting gold out, he would stop you at 100 and 180, and he would say, "Oh no, my friend, just so we'd understand, if you are paying for my identifying services not as a ritual, you only pay once, and I identify everything within a reason. I didn't make you pay that much gold for every item. I'm not here to rob you." But I have seen some places that do try to do this, and he like winks at you. Basically, for 160 gold, he'll identify everything.
Compared to 20 gold in 20 minutes?
I agree. Well, 20 gold in 20 minutes would get... Well, that would... No, yeah, so that's true. Robin, 20 gold in 20 minutes would do all 4 items.
With me helping.
Yeah.
And teaching me a more effective way of doing it.
Sure. So, Robin, you wouldn't need to spend that much gold.
He pays 25, however. He purposely miscounts.
Oh god, no. Baboon goes, my friend, there is a slight miscalculation. You paid me just a bit too much. And you put 5 gold back in your hand.
Robin pulls his hand away before he can. No, I'm just bad with math. Keep it.
He'll consider you for a moment. As you wish, my friend. As you wish. And he'll sit down with Ross, and he will start focusing on it. And he studies what you're doing. And he, after a moment, he pauses, and he says, "My friend, do you have something like this?" And he pulls out a diamond worth 100 gold pieces.
Oh, let me look. I think I have diamonds, and I know for me I have a pearl.
I'm sorry, a pearl. It's not a diamond, it's a pearl. Do you have a pearl worth 100 gold?
If I can figure out how to use this iPad.
Because I'm pretty sure you do.
Mouse, I mean. A pearl of 100 gold pieces. Yes, I do.
Alright, he'd say, "Do you have an item like this one, a pearl?"
Well, yeah, I was using it to help attune to the energy.
Excellent. Hold it out like this. And he'll spend 20 minutes kind of showing you how he does it. And you get the grasp of it.
Okay.
While that 20 minutes is taking place, you guys have a giant pile of food on the ground. And I do mean pile. It's like I said, jerky, vegetables, food stuff. Some of it would last a while. Some of it, like you said, probably won't last more than a few days. But you'll have to kind of move that over somewhere. After 20 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and share this. And I'm going to reveal these. There you go. You should be able to see them all, yes?
Yes.
Alright. Boots of elven kind, cloak of elven kind, gloves of swimming and climbing, and the flask. And he'll pick up the flask at the end, and Ross, the flask kind of eludes you. It's a bit more of a complicated item. And he's able to pick it up. He goes, "This is... I've not seen the like of this. This is interesting. This is fascinating. It looks like a normal flask, something that you would put ale or something, perhaps a form of wine in, but no, that would be unwise. This is a flask that once a day will generate its own fluid of healing nature." And he does this like as he's explaining. It would create healing once a day. But here's the special part. And he looks at Robin as he says this, because Robin was the one that was, asking for these to be identified. He goes, this item, if you have a potion that can heal and you place it within this flask for a period of about an hour or so, it will make it more potent. It is a very interesting flask that you had found, my friend.
He smiles and bows appreciative and says, "Thank you, it was a gift."
It is a magnificent gift.
Hey, Robin, do you want to try out the I have a regular healing potion here. If you want to try out the flask.
He will look at you for a second, and I'd rather not waste one of yours. You might need it. And he takes his bag off the shoulder and sets it down, and in one of the side pockets, there's about 8 healing potions and a few greater, and he just dumps one of the normal healing potions into it.
Gotcha. So, out of character, just to make it very clear as it works, once a day, of course, it can fill with a greater healing potion. That is at will. So it is when you need it, right? You can place a healing potion inside it, and if it's in there for over an hour, a regular healing potion goes from 2d4 plus 2 to 3d4 plus 3. A greater goes to 6d4 plus 6, and a superior goes to 10d4 plus 12.
Okay, so it's a slight bonus. It's not enough to bump it up to
Exactly. It doesn't bump it up
it's
to,
like
but it is a
healing
bonus.
plus. Yeah.
And
Okay.
basically, it can be done like once a short rest if you have the potions for it.
Okay.
I mean, that's technically not true either, because it's just an hour. It doesn't require a short rest. Just I put that in there because of the time period. But yes.
When Robin says, about like my potion isn't, to save it, Ross is like, well, I guess we were a group, but never mind. She just kind of mutters that under her breath.
Don't be mistaken, I don't want to spend your money. You'll probably need it eventually. Looks really apologetic. Really sad that he hurt you. Like, he's still on the floor, like on his knees where he put down the bag and is just looking up with
and you see
red
like
glowing puppy eyes.
And you see like Baboom is like between the both of you, just like looking back and forth like that guy from Breaking Bad, like, huh?
I don't want this if you'd like it. And he holds up the cloak of Elvenkind.
I mean, they were given to you.
He shrugs and says, I think that any of my other black cloaks would likely work. And besides, this one's not quite as good as the one I have.
Well, this is still a very powerful item. It should not go to waste.
I mean, I'll definitely take it. I would.
He stands up and like walks around her and drapes it around her shoulder before he picks back up his bag and puts it on his shoulder.
So, Cloak of Elvenkind, when you have the hood up, wisdom perception checks made to see you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on stealth checks made to hide, as the cloak's color shifts to camouflage you. It's important to note that is not stealth checks while you move. It's specifically stealth checks to hide or to be seen. But it's still a very powerful item.
Yeah, it would be excellent for, say, a rogue.
Or a sniper.
Right? Or sniper, yeah. Somebody who got, like, sneak attack.
You have a ghillie cloak.
That's very true.
And just for the sake of everyone else who's watching, Boots of Elvenkind are one of the items there. While you wear these boots, your steps make no sound regardless of the surface you're moving across. You also have advantage on dexterity stealth checks that rely on moving silently. And the gloves of swimming and climbing. While wearing these gloves, climbing and swimming don't cost you extra movement, and you gain a +5 bonus to strength athletics checks made to climb or swim. So it's almost as if these items were custom designed for someone who runs across rooftops at night. I don't know why that just came to mind.
Paladins.
Definitely paladins.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
With that done, Baboon says, so, this adventure that involves these invisibility potions, and he starts pulling out from his bag He pulls out 3 potions of invisibility and 2 scrolls of invisibility. He goes, "This is all I have in my inventory, and of course I am able to cast this spell on you as well, or at least on 3 people, or 2 plus myself, if I am to be coming along. I should denote, so that we are clear, for me to come with you is absolutely free of charge. I do not charge by the hour or any absurd notion like that. I come with you, I'm free of charge, because I am a la carte. You pay for only what you need. If I come with you and it turns out I am unneeded, well then, that is money still in your pocket. But if I'm there and you need an Eldritch Blast or 2, then you can pay it. Make sense, yes?
Ross just kind of reaches into her bag and she pulls out the aquamarine gem that we have that's worth about 800 gold.
Mm-hmm.
And says, I think this will get us started on a line of credit.
He'll take it
or
and
down payment.
he takes it in a hand and he, almost like a jeweler, he holds it with 2 fingers with his pinky extended and he pops it out and then brings it in close to his eye. Oh, very fine craftsmanship. Yes, yes. This would definitely do. Definitely. Absolutely give you a line of credit. Quite a bit of credit, actually. And yeah, you'd basically get you 800 gold worth of credit. So he has 3 potions and 2 scrolls of invisibility. They are 180 gold each. Plus, like I was explaining, he's more than happy to come with you. You don't pay for that. It's just if he's there and you need him to do something, he'll tally it up. And I've mentioned this before, but it's not like give me 5 gold or I'm not casting Eldritch Blast. No, he'll just keep a tally.
Yeah, that's Ross wanted to, have some money down.
Sure.
And then if we, got to the end of that, we would do something else.
Gotcha. So do you guys want all these, like I said, 3 potions, 2 scrolls. The scrolls would need to be cast by probably a Ross or Amelia, as I don't think anyone else would be able to cast them. Or technically I don't think Baboom can cast them either. Oh no, he can. It's on his spell list. What am I talking about?
Wait, cast what?
He has 2 invisibility scrolls.
Yeah, he literally. Yeah, he would be able to.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know
Wait,
what I
what
was
are you
thinking.
talking
I don't know.
about?
I don't know. But if you were to purchase the scroll and he were to cast it, obviously that wouldn't be any extra. That would, you know what I mean? That's just the price of the scroll. Potions, of course, anyone can use. They work effectively the same and they cost the same. The only difference is the scrolls do have the limitation of who can actually cast them. And all scrolls are cast at the base level 2, so 1 person.
Okay, and the scrolls were how much?
The same,
potions,
180 each.
1. Okay, so we have 1 potion. There are 5 of us, so 6, 3, 4. So we need 2 more, right? Did I do the math right?
Well, if you are not planning on having any reserves, then absolutely 2 does seem that it would do.
Maybe have just a few extra in case.
Or if money is tight, I can hold on to them until perhaps you need them, if I am coming with you.
I mean, that's
It kind of snorts at that.
what I was thinking, but okay.
With a flurry of fingers. Hang on a second. Oh, boom! Where are you?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
With a flurry of fingers, he drops one of the scrolls, and one of them disappears up his sleeve.
What?
He was trying to
tried to
be
do it
fancy.
slang.
He didn't do well.
Okay.
Oh, honey. Yeah, Amelia like leans down, picks it up, and hands the scroll back to him.
He just kind of, thank you, and just like puts it away.
Neither of
poor
them make eye
man.
contact.
He tries so hard. And he says, "So, again, what is this great adventure that we are embarking on?"
Robin, you seem to be the most informed.
Robin shrugs with that one shoulder and says, we're going to get into the Emperor's area, and he kind of looks at Miri for, what did you decide?
Aren't we gonna...
You're muted, Blue.
I am muted. Whoops. Mary gives Baboom a very appraising look. And we'll look over to the group. And I guess look back to Baboom. You'll have to excuse me for a moment. And she proceeds to talk about him like he's not here. What do we want to tell him? There's a lot here that could get him in quite a bit of trouble.
I mean, he's going to be going into this entire thing.
I mean, feel like if he's gonna risk his life for us, we should inform him of everything. That's
We already know
From
pertinent.
the very beginning.
Amelia kind of squints at Mary.
As you guys are talking, Baboom walks over and leans over to Portland and scratches his chin. I assume that they talk when you're not here all the time. It is hard, my friend.
I mean, I haven't really done anything that I'm not okay with it ever being shared. I think.
I agree that if he's risking his life, we should tell him everything we know.
At least about this situation. And Amelia continues to squint a little bit at Mary.
I trust your judgment, Mori, that you would know what to share and not to share. I mean, that's why we have you do most of the talking.
Not just because you're the mom.
You there?
Her computer just disconnected.
No. Baboom learns
Well.
nothing.
I guess that just made her, go into shock and have to reboot because,
As
You back?
Mary stands into the middle. As we play the
there.
waiting game.
So- I guess we could just decide and, inform him as we see fit.
Alright, Baboom, we're gonna stand outside the walls and shoot at people.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Hey!
My fucking internet is having a fit right now.
I know those days.
I it's the fucking thunder. I'm sorry. What did we decide while I was gone? I've been gone for like.
That you were the face of the group, and that's why we trust your discretion in judgment.
Oh
They-
boy, okay.
They
Or,
did
you know-
they did stress though that if he's risking his life, he deserves to know at
Everything
least.
pertinent to
Yeah.
this particular topic.
Weary shrugs. Very well. And gestures to Boom. Sir, you might want to sit down for this.
He will flick out his robes and sit cross-legged by Portly, continuing to like stroke under his chin as Portly also sits down.
The man we're rescuing, his name is Salvatore Scream. And at that, she kind of turns her head. And clicks her tongue. It's a pity we don't have, well, pity the one friend we have who could magic-proof this place we just left. I'd prefer not to have anyone listening in.
Oh, well, that could be arranged for a small fee.
How much?
I could.
He go ahead.
I was gonna say I could look it up, but I'm sure it's more than $100 and not necessarily worth it at this exact moment.
No, absolutely not. He could cast Lehman's tiny hut for 90 gold.
Okay, I was off by $10 gold.
The tiny hut blocks pretty much any magical means. Says no magic can get through it. Someone, actually, I don't. I have to look up the spell. But I think it blocks. I think someone with an earshot could hear you. But I mean, that's very unlikely, and it would block any form of magic.
Let's save our gold for more life-saving. Don't think it's necessary to protect our secrets.
She shrugs. Very well. The man we're rescuing is called Salvatore Scream.
Very unfortunate name.
I think we've all come to that conclusion, yes. He knows the location of perhaps the last man in Corvosa who can legally depose the queen.
A very dangerous topic to discuss, I see. Though, from the moment I met you, I'd expected nothing less grand. So the goal is to find this gentleman by finding the Salvatore Scream, yes?
That is the plan, although I don't think anyone here is certain of how much he knows, or perhaps the state he's in right now.
Oh, if you don't mind, what can you tell me about this Salvatore? Anything that could be helpful?
And Weary casts a sideways glance at Robin. He is a very religious man, and an artist.
Those things are not uncommon. They do tend to... I have seen that one can inspire the other.
Amelia will pull out a couple of the later journal poem things and hand them over to Baboom from her bag.
A baboon sees them and looks at them, but does not take one and goes, "Ah. This symbol is very familiar to me. Very old. But he is a follower of a very dangerous deity." And he'll look, glance Robin's direction.
Robin gives him a toothy grin.
I see. There was a time, a different life, you might say, that I did work beside your kind. They were fond of this image, yes?
He nods.
Well then, I will make sure to show my respect in your presence. And he will, like, even sitting, give you a slight bow. For I would not like the penalty, should I not?
Robin doesn't say much, but he maintains eye contact. Yeah, he doesn't move at all.
This Salvatore Scream, is he a drow?
I don't think he is.
Do we actually know what he looks like?
No, I don't think we do.
You don't know what he looks like. God, no one's ever said a race. So I will say this, though. No one's ever commented that he is. And being a drow is the type of thing that you would mention. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare. I mean, Robin's the first drow most of you have ever seen. So no one has commented on his race, but no one has said he was a drow. And that in and of itself... Well, actually, I was going to say it doesn't mean much because he also happens to worship the same deity Robin does, so... That's what you
He's
guys...
kind of a recluse, apparently.
That is what you guys...
I feel like I would have heard about it if there was another drow looming around.
Yes, they are very rare in these parts.
Well, real quick, I know not all artists know each other, but like, would Triana have like mentioned Salvatore Scream at all?
Roll me...
Yeah, they did like live kind of nearby each other.
You know what? Roll me a D100. I'm curious. It's possible. So just do 2d10.
Oh, I was
Maybe
just gonna
maybe
do
they were in the same
actual
club.
percentage thing.
Oh, yeah, that'll work too.
38.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she once mentioned, she was talking about, other artists in Corvosa and, who she adores and who she admires. She brought up Salvatore Scream, but mainly from distaste. Salvatore Scream was very famous and known for very high quality paintings of very disgusting, in her view, scenes. Death, blood, battles, macabre art in the extreme. She admired his talent, but
not
detested his subject material.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Had
she
actually, like,
yes,
met him?
she would have met him, and she never mentioned. Yeah, with that role, yeah, he's human.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then Amelia will say as much.
And Baboon kind of considers, this is very unusual. This particular entity tends to favor the females over the males, and the drow after that. For this person to be a disciple of her, he must have been very talented indeed. And he will look back to Robin. Again, in this other life, I served one who might be called an ally to her, though that was a very long time ago.
In Robin's time, has he ever heard any legends of eerie tieflings along his own caliber of the sort?
Roll me an intelligence check. History. You think back. A long time ago, probably a few centuries at least. You heard tales, even though you were far removed from your people for the most part at that point. Tales of a blue tiefling who did not follow the mother, but followed some other very dark entity, who would be sent to display the wrath of that entity. He was very feared and very well known, but no one knew exactly what he looked like. No one knew his name. And the reason why you remember this is because there was a period of time where among certain circles, blue tieflings were looked at distrustfully, if that makes sense. But, I mean, that was a long time ago, and tieflings usually don't live more than 100, 120 years.
Okay. Alright. Robin gets a bit squinty. Doesn't say anything.
And my point, my friends, is we must be careful. This is a very powerful individual. Perhaps in combat ability, or perhaps in art. In my experience, either can be deadly.
Weary cocks her head. So, in the notes, did it not seem that he had recently lost this deity's favor? He seemed rather upset about it.
I would not be surprised. This entity, and he pauses and looks at Robin, can often change its mind about a follower. He says very carefully.
Robin rubs the temple and says, "You are free to talk. I am not unused to this."
I see. The entity, she is mostly known as the mother, is very fickle in her attentions. If you do not constantly please her, she is as like to turn on you as anything else.
Yeah, you can sense Weary's vague distaste, but she says nothing.
So, this man knows where this other man is. Where is this man? This Salvatore?
From the state we saw his dwelling in, his prior dwelling, at least. And from the signs we saw, it appears that for his artistic talents his presence was requested, and then demanded, and then taken by the Emperor.
The Emperor. This name, I have heard this name. You're someone of importance here, yes?
Technically.
I see. So if I am gathering this correctly, the invisibility is some sort of attempt to enter his area and talk to this Salvatore, rescue this Salvatore, something of that nature. Am I in the right area?
That's my understanding of it.
Weary shrugs and leans back against the counter. We have yet to come up with a better plan, I'm afraid.
I see. Well, very well. If that is the plan, then I am at your disposal.
Do you perchance have a better one?
Well, I suppose that will all depend on what type of man is this emperor. Obviously, he's not a true emperor, so he's calling himself that, or others call him that, but in my experience, no one calls someone else an emperor by choice.
Squee, are there any bodies along the street hanging that are like viewable from the windows?
Yes, unless you've removed them.
Yeah, Amelia will kind of point to one of them and say, "These are some of his warnings." If that gives you any idea.
Baboon will look.
That is to say, the foulest kind of man.
This is more than just a warning, I'm thinking. A dead body would do the trick, but this is strung up. This is displayed. This is... And he like waves a hand as if he's trying to think of the word. This is art, in a sense. Not tasteful, obviously, but it is a message all the same. This man, this emperor, I assume this is a self-imposed title, yes?
Yeah, I think.
Most certainly.
I see. And he's kidnapped the Salvatore. For what reason, do we know?
He was meant to make a portrait for him, apparently, and did not deliver.
Ah, I was thinking as much. Well, there may be something we could try. Dangerous, though I suppose no more dangerous than sneaking into his abode, invisible. A man like that must have exotic tastes, yes, desires. Well, there's no one that can fit exotic tastes and desires like the great baboon.
That's
kind of raise an eyebrow.
that's very true. You do have a unique knack for finding what is needed.
Yes, that is very true. It would be possible that we could approach the Emperor as, as Baboon, the great merchant, and perhaps, and he waves a hand, his assistants. We gain an audience, offering him something of extreme value, and then, well, if he is as detestable as you say, perhaps when we are in front of him, there is a technique that I am familiar with. And men like this, they rule by fear, yes? They rule by charisma, yes? Typically speaking, they are the head of a snake. If you remove that head, the followers, they no longer have a thing to fear, yes?
Yep, pretty much.
That's usually the idea.
It's just an idea. It's what one. I am sure I can come up with something suitable to gather a man of said tastes. Though I stress it is not necessarily any less dangerous than your proposed plan. It simply is different.
I think part of the danger might come from the fact that, and she looks around to the gathered people. I, for one, cannot claim that my talents lie in lying.
Well, you can be the silent mute assistant.
She snorts.
There's also the fact that I'm fairly certain he knows what most of us look like, if not all of us.
As you say this, there's a slow grin creeping across Baboom's face. Miri, my feathery wonder, if you need someone to weave words like silk, I am your man.
I mean, So it seems like we're back to the art plan with the blackmailing Chilaxian diplomat Newt.
Amelia immediately puts up her hand and goes, "We are not bringing that."
Mary cocks her head. Although you might be able to sell them. I'm sure there are some people whose tastes run to such things. Otherwise, they would not have been commissioned.
Why do you even have those?
It's
It's a very long story.
I needed blackmail.
Apparently not that long.
So I think I have one more thing I want to do, but I think this might be an interesting time to stop for the session so that you guys can consider your options. I will say this. It is no fun to have an NPC do all the work for you, but it's also no fun not to be able to utilize the talents of the friends you've made. So, if you wanted to go a direction like that and have Baboon be your mouthpiece, I would want the players to kind of help me dictate what direction he's going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you should still have a hand in your successes and failures. But that's only if you choose to go that way. The other option is still just as valid, and you guys can take the week to explore that. I do have one more scene I'd like to do before we end the session, if you guys are cool with that. And any scenes that quick scenes you guys have in mind.
No, I'm good. Anybody else?
Nope.
No?
No quick scenes, no.
Gotcha. Baboon would, as people are discussing things, at some point he would look at Robin and he would go over and he'd say, "My friend, if I'm curious, you mind having a small conversation with me, alone?"
Robin makes the motion to lead the way.
And Baboon would say, "My friends, I have a brief question to ask esteemed Robin here about a previous transaction. It is of a sensitive nature. We will be back momentarily."
Murray nods. The room's upstairs are free if you need privacy. Stay
Mary,
out of their aim.
Mary is as thoughtful as always. And he'll lead Robin upstairs, and when they get upstairs, he would turn. As I said before, I can show a proper amount of respect to the one you serve, though I am curious, what are your intentions with these people, if I may ask?
I'm doing a favor for a friend currently, and I really have no intention. They seem like decent people, and I find myself in servitude of the one called Miri.
He nods. She is very breathtaking, that is true.
She is respected and followed.
He nods. You seem like an upstanding sort, and your words ring true. Odd that you may be to be a drow alone in this territory, following the mother. Let me simply say this, and we shall think of it no more. These are my friends, Robin. You hurt them. I will hurt you.
Robin's smile widens, and he says, "I knew that I had heard something of you. How old are you now? How have you lived this long?"
Through means I never expected to find. The person you heard about, the tales you knew, that person's dead. I am very much different, my friend. Very much. And he gives a smile.
One more thing, if I could, since you've asked questions of me. What changed?
in servitude for a very long time. I was tasked with the job to kill a certain Frey creature by the name of Brunhilde. I found that I could not. My way was blocked by the most magnificent unicorn I'd have ever seen. I saw a different path that day, a new path, one that I have endeavored to walk down for many years.
Battery low.
One that I must admit is far more agreeable. But that does not mean I've forgotten who I was. Nor should you.
Robin waves a hand dismissively. I appreciate the defense of your friends and the protection, but threats are not necessary. There is nothing that you could possibly do to me that is worse than has already happened, and besides that, I will show you that I can at least be as trustworthy as them. And offers his hand.
Baboon will take it. It is an odd thing. You realize the one you worship is not known for being trustworthy, though I find myself trusting your words. It is curious indeed. And he shakes your hand.
Personality doesn't dictate the religion. Usually the religion chooses you. Want to go outside for a smoke? And, motions down the stairs, not wanting to smoke, and Miri's head.
That would be excellent. Yes, please. And they go back down the stairs. We'll just end the session there. Robin and Baboon go outside and have a smoke.
Nice.
Alright, guys. Well, we're in the session there. Next week we'll pick up with whatever this group decides to do. Should be interesting. Either way, it's going to be very interesting.
Oh boy, it's gonna be something.
It's either gonna be amazing or horrible.
Really?
No in between.
Uh-huh.
Why not both?
Why not both? I use that
I'm
meme
pretty
too
sure
much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just our go-to these days.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.